I'm back. Hello. Drake is still setting up, so give it a second. I just had to. I did the Twitter thing. I did the stream title, I believe. Yes. Welcome back, Kotsun. Kotsun, we are now going to discuss the adventures of Indiana John. Gave me a second times up. If you're wondering why it's that title, well, this is a role-playing game. And if you're curious, like if you're thinking, nah, this can't be official, right? Well, look at the official picture on Wikipedia. It's the same fucking scan. Welcome back.
Yes,
I'm just
back.
showing people how Indiana John is.
Yes, Indiana John. Yes.
Yeah.
Our favorite Garfield character.
Yes, here he is. This is the guy you can play in this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hello, Zola. Yeah. I'm also happy to see you again. Yeah. Yeah. I said hello before, so I'm saying hello twice. I don't know. So, what the fuck is this? Well, this is a game from 1984. So that puts us... We're reviewing this old-ass tabletop game. Kotsun. We're talking about it, and we're walking you through how it works. This is Tabletop Talk, where we every 2 weeks, Drake and I review RPG. It can be an old one, it can be a new one. And we tell you what we think about it. So,
Yep.
Again, this game is from 1984, putting it at honestly like 10 years into RPGs existing. About give or take. Like you can start the count maybe slightly differently depending what you put under the umbrella. So a lot of mistakes, I would say, had already been made. Like the most basic garbage should have been out of the way. Let's see how this fares. From the producers of Dungeons and Dragons game, for 2 or more, ages 10 and up. Okay.
Oh, can you also stream it to me? Sorry.
Oh shit! Sorry. Yeah, of course I can do that.
You're good. You're good.
Share the browser. Here you go.
Thank
you. Yeah, a good TSR product back when they existed.
Yes, that was better when they had their than when they had their wizard guy.
Yes, slightly better than when they had the Clansman on the cover.
Yep.
Michael's 1984, I believe that is still original D&D first edition. AD&D would come out not that far in the future, but it's not out yet, I believe, Drake?
I will get you the exact date. So the second edition was published in 1989, so 5 years after this. AD&D first edition was around right now, but it wasn't really as widely played as second edition was.
Oh, that's nice of you, Kotzen. Kotzen, I post my schedule every Monday on Twitter. And yes, there's a schedule. And it's mostly followed. So again.
Yep.
Then we have a map of this strange world we'll be in. Like there's
yes.
like I think there's too many continents on this, and there's too much ocean as well.
There's way too much world building in this book.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to pump the brakes here,
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Indiana John.
Yeah. Like, you can tell all the stories you want to tell with like 5 countries. You don't need like 500, whatever the fuck is on this map.
I know. Come on, get on Eberron's level.
Yeah. I also look at these tiny islands. I bet there's lots of pirates there and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's always the stereotype.
But I think it looks weird. I think this isn't real. Like a real cartographer would come up with a way better map than this.
Soviet Union, what a name.
Yeah.
What a name.
Exactly.
Come on. What is that, Elvish? Come on.
Yeah, it sounds made up. Like Egypt. What is Egypt?
Egypt.
Yeah. Like, but anyway, we digress. It's not really a fault, to put your set to make a weird setting up in and of itself. And now it's like Indiana Jones. All of a sudden, I don't understand. It was John before.
I know. They added the ES just for us.
Yeah, the meme. Yeah, okay, the scan is bad, but I do love that they used the exact picture from the bad scan for the RPG because no one has this book.
No one has this book.
Tanked hard, and we'll see why really quickly.
Very quickly. I mean, I gotta admit though, for an indie game of its time, it went pretty far.
Yes.
There, I finally told the joke. I've been holding it in for like weeks.
I mean, it's like Star Wars. You do have a whole galaxy. It's true. Yeah. I guess, Fox, you're right. And we see all the people who made this. Larry Elmore had a real easy time in this book, as we'll see. And I know Larry Elmore, actually from some classic stuff that he did. I looked it up. Can do art good. So.
Oh, he do art real good.
Yeah.
That's one thing about Larry Elmore. Like, he really raised the bar for them once he joined the team, honestly, art-wise. Because before that point, there was like such chaos as to what art they were doing. But then after he became a thing,
and then we have so this scan sucks. We can see that, right? I'm not going to fault them for that, but we see David Cook, who did a lot of work for TSR and also I think later other companies as well. Not quite sure.
Yeah, he's still working today. He works with Monty Cook at Monty Cook's publishing company now.
Yeah, Richard Amsel. Honestly, like this is the cover is great. Like this is amazing.
Yeah,
they very much put their best foot forward with this cover, and also with here we see what this is really about. This is about like photos they put in, because pretty quickly also like we are in a time where RPG fits on 64 pages. So.
Yep.
Oh, you're cute, Zola. And now, well, we can be indie, and then they set the scene with like a bit of a text. And I forget if this one already is racist and misogynist, but it is. Oh no, this one is just fight. Okay.
Yeah, it's just slightly xenophobic. Could he grab his gun before the Spaniard got to him?
That was the Spaniard. Oh yeah, that's why I thought of racist. Yeah, this is a time where an evil guy can just be called the Spaniard, and it's gonna be fine.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think Jones would do? Could he move fast enough to grab the gun before the Spaniard stopped him? Could he use his whip to take care of both the Spaniard, it's always italicized, and his friend? What would he say if he tried to make a deal? What would you want him to do? Make your choice. Making choices like the one above is what the Adventure of Indiana Jones game is all about. So this is still a time, I say this every time we do an old RPG, that you have to put the what the fuck is an RPG? What do you even do in it section.
Yeah. And we have to critique it every time too, because oh god, there were so many wildly different things that they would say at these.
Yeah, like for example, do you just lie me, or is he heading into a trap?
Anti-British stuff too now.
Yeah.
Jeez, they do like every single stereotype in this book. Holy shit!
I do love that they refer to their 3D adventures and 3D figurines, which we'll see later.
Right.
And they love that they had that.
I love that.
The rules are short and simple. That is true. Using dice. This game, folks, historically amazing. The D10 was not invented in 1984, but was premiered for RPGs at Gen Con 1984. And this was the first game that used the D10. And they gave you 2 of them in the box set that you bought. Like this booklet was in there, then a second booklet for arts and crafts, which we'll see.
Yep.
And then dice, and assumedly like some extra sheets or whatever the fuck. I don't know what else was in there. How does the D10 work? Well, we know you roll them. One side is the 10 side, one is the 1 side. And the book also sometimes makes you roll 2d10 plus 7, which is like you add the numbers and add a number. Fair enough. These are all the dice mechanics this needs. And then this book likes to do this at every page, on lots of pages, where it explains to you, the final result is 16, blah, blah, blah. The hulking native steps forward. Indy's got to make his move now. What will he do? To find out how to make decisions, turn the page. Like, on the surface, I don't mind this, but they managed to make all of these, like, very sus. Hulking native. And I know the indie thing is, like, it is, like, it's partially about that, you know? It's partially... Those movies haven't aged well. Let's be real here. Indy isn't like a good guy for stealing from natives. But now, like, what we see here, like, this is the photo manipulation. They cut out these rocks and they put Indy in.
Mm-hmm.
That's the art in this is just Indiana Jones pictures they cut out of the movies.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So 50 hours in MS Paint style, almost.
Yeah. That is why I say the artist in this book had a real easy time, because I think the most that person does is like this stuff here, like some splotches and some gun bullet holes and stuff. Okay, so and now we get, I posed this question the other day on stream actually. We get, but because I couldn't contain myself, but now we get to the point in this game where it immediately falls apart. The hardest I've ever seen a game fall apart in like one decision. Drake, what would you say is a good idea in a role-playing game? Like, what is one of the more important mechanics to put in?
Creating your own characters so that you can play that role.
Yeah, but what about we don't do that?
Let's just completely destroy that and get rid of that.
What about, as a player, you control one of the most important parts of the Adventures of Indiana Jones game, a character, also called a player character or PC. You play the game through this character, making all of his decisions for him. Will Indiana Jones try a running leap across the chasm, or will he look for a safer way to cross? As bullets whiz around him, will Salah, that is the guy from the first movie, the Egyptian guy, risk his life to sprint through the clearing. As a player, you make those decisions. Each character in this game is unique. The world simply isn't big enough for two Indiana Joneses. Each player has to decide which character will play. He, of course, will play. In this game, you can be any one of the following player characters: Indiana Jones, Marion Ravenwood, Salah, Jock Lindsay, Short Round, Willie Scott, Wuhan. End of list. So, folks, I looked this up. So let's go through. Indiana Jones, we know what that is. Marion Ravenwood, the lady from the first movie.
Yep.
Salah, the Egyptian, the tall Egyptian guy from the first movie. Jock Lindsay, some pilot dude who plays no important role. Short Round, the Asian kid from the second movie. Willie Scott, I forget. Isn't that no? That's the other woman, isn't she? It's the other.
Yeah. Isn't she in the second movie?
That's the singer from the second movie, right? Sorry. And Wuhan, the guy in the Asian friend of Indy's who dies immediately in the second movie at the start.
Yep.
List over, and this is now importantly, you might say, but isn't there a lot of like other content for Indiana Jones that they could use? Well, yeah, sure, but not in 1984 when this comes out. Like here's the Indiana Jones, like the whole thing. First movie 1981, second movie 1984.
Yep.
Every other movie obviously later. Young Indiana Jones starts 1992. Blah blah blah. Box office performance. Then we get to have novels. Yep. First novel 1991. Children's novels 1984. So maybe there were one or two children's novels up, but this is June. I doubt it. So this
all seemed to happen simultaneously.
Yeah. 1990 for Random House, whatever that is, and so on and so forth. So they had nothing. The decision to only pull from the movies was really not good.
No.
Games adapted to derived from other. So they had a video game. The Raiders video game. That's the base. Oh, look here. This is gonna have real characters in
Development.
I can't wait to play one of these blocks of
Oh
15
no!
pixels.
Wait, that little yellow splotch, is that the man in the yellow hat stolen from Curious George?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
God. So
Wow.
yeah, we aren't really we are not digging in a deep well of content here.
No, this is a very shallow little kiddie pool.
So this decision is pretty baffling. However, this product is kind of designed like a baby's first RPG almost.
Mm-hmm.
And in that sense, the decision.
I got to respond to Gwen too in a second.
Yeah.
Yes, R.L. Stine wrote Goosebumps, but also wrote a bunch of other stuff. R.L. Stine is one of those authors I would put in the category of they wrote to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So they wrote tons and tons and tons of kids material. People would throw like Indiana Jones or what have you at them, and R.L. Stine would go, okay, and then write whatever it was. I can't tell you how many children's books that I picked up when I was a kid was like, whoa, this is R.L. Stine also? This is also R.L. Stine? To the point where it was ridiculous. Anyway, sorry, I had to have that sidebar.
No, it's completely fine. I have monologued here for a while. So then it tells you you have to keep track of your belongings, and if you pay for something, you subtract money and stuff. And then if you lose your things, then they might, if you buy a car and then total it, then the money and the car are gone, so on and so forth.
Yep.
Fair enough. Again, this game is written very much from the perspective of, if you know not what an RPG is, looketh in this booketh.
Yes, look in this book and understand causal reality.
Yeah. So there are 6 attributes in this game, and these are strength, movement, prowess, backbone, instinct, and appeal. Each attribute is rated from 1 to 100. The higher a character's attribute rating is, the better the character is at that attribute. Okay, straightforward enough. Attribute checks, just roll. If you roll under, that's important. If you have a 20 in an attribute, you have to roll a 19 or under to make it.
Yep.
And then there's attribute modifiers, which is like, if something is easy, you double your attribute. If something is hard, you half it. If something is really hard, you quarter it.
Yep.
So please.
This was used again later in the Amazing Engine system, by the way.
This isn't exactly very granular, but I don't mind it too much.
Yep.
So what ends up happening is that you just have if you have a 50 and something, you write down 50, 100, 25, 12. Because you're supposed to round to the nearest even number when you round. The nearest whole number, not blah blah whatever, and you round down, I think. And so that are your things. Fine enough. Lucky breaks and bad breaks, as you would expect. 01 to 05, you get a lucky break, and 96 to 100, you get a bad break. These mean that besides what you want to happen in a lucky break sense, something good happens as well. And in the bad sense, it's also like you don't do what you want and something bad happens. However, the book states outright, this is never supposed to kill you, what you do. It's just supposed to be a blunder.
Yep.
Which is fair enough, because this game is simultaneously very deadly and not deadly at all, in a weird way. Anyway, so what attributes are their strength is pretty self-explanatory. They tell you, Indy is being chased along a bridge. The loose rock suddenly tumbles him over the brink of the cliff. What cliff? A ridge, it's not a bridge. Flailing wildly, he just catches the edge with his fingers, his body dangling. Can he pull himself up? Blah, blah. What you would expect. Movement, this is how you run. Since indie games are not about chasing, this attribute comes up more than you would think in the brains of these people. I am not sure if it really comes up that much, but whatever. A prowess is like fighting with anything, I think.
Yep. It's basically any kind of coordination, not hand-eye, but total body coordination.
Just your fighting skill in this, because shooting and beating someone up are both Indie and wrestling as well. Which you can all do equally well. Everyone can do this equally well if they're just by their prowess. Backbone is if you are like Indie is afraid of snakes. If you see the snake, has to do a backbone check. Don't be afraid. They have no other example of backbone being used in this book.
No,
I'm not being hyperbolic. I couldn't find one. Like, it is crazy that this is an attribute because they never bring it up in other situations. Like, you're supposed to be completely free to choose what you want to do, except when your irrational fear pops up, and only 2 characters in this book even have one of those.
Yep.
And interestingly enough, one of them is the movie woman from the second movie whose name I can't remember. Oh, Backbone is brought him alcohol. Oh yeah, that's for your drinking. Which is weird, but okay. But yeah, but drinking is a choice, Sander. Like, it is not like a thing that DM springs on you usually. That's my point. Like, it is never important. Interestingly, like, this is just also a small food for thought thing. The woman from movie 2 is listed with a fear of insects as her irrational fear. Do you remember in the second movie when they opened that one wall and there's like 10,000 creepy crawlies in there? Oh, see you, Zorilla. And it's like critters the size of your like fist, like crawling around. And it's like, and she's like, nah, I'm not sticking my hands in them. It's gonna scream. I would be screaming too, but it's not irrational. That's like startling.
Yeah, that's genuinely startling.
It is a rational fear of insects at that point because there's a lot of them in there. And then you have instinct, which is like your sixth sense / perception.
Yep. And then appeal.
Yeah, and then finally appeal, which is pretty obvious. It's like if you are dealing with an NPC, you can appeal. What do your instincts tell you about danger? Because it could be right around the corner in the Icons of Ikamanen. I don't know how to say that. This is their written adventure. And now, having explained us the very basics, we are immediately thrust into the first scene of that adventure.
Immediately.
In which we are supposed to play out a scene, but just like as practice in our own little brain. What is this scene? Well, so to play this episode, you need the Indiana Jones character dossier from the evidence file, a piece of paper, a pencil, and at least and the 2 tensile dice. You can play this episode by yourself. You shouldn't do this by yourself.
Terrible advice.
Because the thing is that the story they start here continues with and tells you to now add more players in. So you should just play this with your players, or your player in this case, because only Indy is present. It's very smart of them. In a game, you are supposed to play with several people. Okay, whatever. While you read the episode scenes, pretend that you're Indiana Jones. After you read a scene, follow the steps that outline how you play the situation described in the scene. Start by reading scene 1. Scene 1 is... Indy is in his office and he's trying to whip a cigarette out of a girl's mouth.
Wow. I'm really glad that Indy is a teacher. Jeez.
Yeah. He's doing it. She's volunteered, don't worry. It's fine. She's gonna get a better grade for that.
Yes, consensual cigarette whipping.
But they make sure to tell you she's a straight A student. She just wants the A+. Like, what are you doing? What is this writing? This is... Oh my god. Anyway. So, you roll your D100 to see on instinct first. Why? Because Marcus Brody is entering. And he can surprise you if you don't notice him. And then you prowess check to do the whipping. And then you either do it or not, and the girl probably runs away. And if you botch or do shitty, You whip some of her hair off her head, which is what? You
Oh
whip,
my
you
God.
whip, clipping a lock from Miss Greebly's hair. Like, this is immediately the worst Indiana Jones movie. It's worse than Crystal Skull.
Holy crap.
And you can
Can
try
we
again.
have...
If you only miss, you can try again, though. Like, while Brody is there, telling you to stop. And then you finish the whip practice, and then you go with Brody. Like, it's just on rails, to be clear. Like, there's no decision here.
Yes.
Which is for okay, this is if you never even considered what this is, what it could be like to play, act a character, like while not like on a movie set. I get it. I kind of get it. It's fine. This is on rails for that reason. But the problem is these adventures stay on fucking rails so hard, it's not even funny.
They really do.
Yeah.
They really do. Like, I'm glad that there's at least enough self-awareness for the character of Brody to go, do you realize there could have been a lawsuit? Yeah, I'm glad that they have the self-awareness to write that in. But that's it. That's where the self-awareness stops.
Yes. And then they go to scene number 2, where they meet one of Indy's former students, who is a good student, blah, blah, blah. Somehow Indy knows he has a sister. I don't know why. And then that guy immediately gets knifed in the back with a thrown knife out of the second story window. Somehow. And then you have 2 options. You can either run to the window and check what's up, or you can check on the guy. The guy is dead if you do that. And checking out the window reveals that there's like someone's fleeing in a car. See the car does damage, cuff sputters, rolls off, blah blah blah. But the student had a map on him and a picture clipped together. Take the Kilimanjaro map and photo from the evidence file. Yeah, thank you.
I like that you said Kilimanjaro, because it's obvious that they're trying to say Kilimanjaro, but they're like, no, we have to make up a place.
Yeah, it's Cricambo, yeah. So I just saw the K and the O, and I made up letters in the middle. Mm-hmm. Thank you for the blood donation. Shows the actually at the off the coast of Africa, primitive tower, unlike anything Indy's ever seen before. An address is clipped to the picture. What shall we do, Marcus says. Who killed Dunn and why? What clues do the map and picture hold? Looks like this is getting nasty. You'd better find out how to fight, because you just might need to know. Turn to combat, page 7. Now there's combat. So, now we enter the fucking Thunderdome of initiative systems.
Okay.
Because it is so bad, but also stupid.
It's so bad, but I have something terrible to tell you.
Okay.
So, apparently, there was a comic book published in 1983, January 1983.
Okay.
That is this adventure is based on the icons of Ikamemen. Because I looked up Cricambo to see if it was a real place. And then that's what I found, that it was in the comic book in 1983.
Is it an indie comic book?
Yes, an indie comic book, literally.
How is this not listed?
Yeah, that's where I'm just like,
what? Icons.
Like, this lists everything.
Wow. Okay, so that's where they're coming from. Well, fair enough. Okay. So they had that one comic and took it over for their thing. Mm-hmm.
Yes. There were multiple comics, actually. Many comics.
So this was going to be a conclusion for later, but that means that one man in this book really phoned it in even harder, and that man is David Cook.
Yes,
and
he
also,
really did.
Is there even a writer listed? No. Oh, John Bryan, the icons of American story. Here, John Bryan. They credit him.
Yeah, they did credit him because he wrote it and penciled it. The comic book too.
Okay, cool. Well, okay. I'm not sure if that's a good comic. I just know this version here is great.
We just know it was based on that because of the made-up African town that's in it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. Like, I Googled it, and that's what I got. So, wow. Again, we find out stuff very quickly on this show about where things came from.
Oh, God. To repeat myself, John Byrne, comic writer who wrote the comic that the sample adventure is adapting, is most known for his work on She-Hulk, X-Men, and co-casting the Ant-Man as in the... Okay. Yeah, see, I mean, good for him. And I'm sure his comic is better than what this is, because this is not great. Because now, we're entering the Thunderdome of initiative systems. So how does it work? You remember we have 6 stats? And one of them is movement? Well, you would think that maybe everyone just rolls their movement. Whoever rolls the most under goes first or something. No, that would be way too easy. No. What we have to do first is everyone at the table just declares if they want to go first.
Yep.
And what they want to do, but they don't have to be specific. They can be like, I shoot my gun, I brawl, I move, I run, whatever the fuck. That's the first round. Keep that in your mind. And then everyone has said, I want to go first, which is everyone. Because why wouldn't you want to go first? Like, what is the efficacy of not going first?
Especially in a game like this, where you're not like, oh, I want to go second. I'm the cleric, so I can heal somebody. That doesn't exist here.
Yep. There is no setup payoff thing. There's not even like a thing that... There's like rules in here that say, oh, you dropped him prone, and then there is no rule that tells you what that means in game terms.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't... mechanically, it only means, he has to stand up. Like, I guess he loses some movement, ? No one knows. Anyway, and then everyone who wanted to go first rolls their movement, but in order of who has the highest movement stat. So let's say if there's 3 players, one has 80, 70, and 60, like each of them. 80 rolls first. If 80 rolls under 80, he can then decide to go first or not, or go last if they want. Which the game says, like, it's not stupid, because we just decided he wants to go first. But anyway, assuming he goes first, then great, do the rest of the round. And then the rest of the players, like, if he didn't roll under, the second player rolls. If he rolls under, he goes first, does his action. And then the third player would roll, and then everyone in initiative would somehow then figure out who's going, because we don't really know still who's going when and how. Moonmaster of Munchies, thank you for the follow. Like, between them. And most importantly, there's different classes of enemies in this game. There's goons and villains, basically. A goon is just like a minion in other games or something. They only have basic stats, and they can never go first. They always basically act last in the scene, which is a good rule, to be clear. That is a good rule, which means you can always just have the drop on, like, a basic guy in the scene.
Yep.
That I like, actually.
I like that a lot.
Moon, we're talking... I can read and understand English, but I'm talking... German, but I'm talking English because it's an English show. But okay, so for the sake of argument, what is bad about this? What I just described. Firstly,
so many things.
I forgot one more thing. Before we end. We have to do one more thing. What you can also do on your turn is. Like, if you said, okay, I punch someone, and then when it's your turn, there's no one to punch because that stuff happened. Then you can be like, okay, I want to change my action. And what you have then have to do is roll a movement check, roll under. You can do whatever you want. Roll over, or hit or roll over, I guess, and you do nothing that turn. You're just startled. Right? So that's on top of everything else. Like,
God.
why is this bad trick? Please count the ways.
so many ways, especially that last one, because like I've played systems that do that, and those systems are just not fun. They're just not. It's the most anti-fun thing ever to say, well, I'm going to shoot my crossbow at him, and then finally it's your turn, and then your crossbow, you use it, and either it's one of those situations where one, you miss, two, the guy's already down, so you're shooting at nothing, or three, you roll the whatever the check is to change your action to something else, but there's nothing left to do.
Yeah.
So you wasted your breath at the start of everything to even say you were doing anything.
Yeah. It's like my personal favorite is the round before you even roll anything or decide an order. Wherever it's like, I punch, I run, I shoot my gun, whatever. Like you're just gonna sit there and be like, yeah, well, I'm just doing something. I guess I have to like that round there's no point to that round.
Yeah, there's like no energy to it as a result because you want to be as generic as possible to make sure you actually did something.
Yeah,
it's the anti-role playing.
I see where they're coming from because the idea is, okay, I'm Indiana Jones. I'm gonna punch the goon this like holding the gun at me. Okay, the goon is going to try to stop you, but he's a goon, so he can't. But the villain who's also there is also going to try to pull out this saber and attack you. So you better act fast, so maybe you can get the gun off the guy. That's the intention.
Yep.
But in game terms, we don't need the declaration at all, because it can just be like, okay, I punched the goon. And it is clear that then we have a fight on our hands anyway. We don't need this. And this is absolute cancer for a baby's first RPG system.
Total cancer.
They actually made it more complicated than Vampire Celerity Rule initiative system.
Yes, I'm flashing back now, but yes.
And that one is a clusterfuck as well. But I mean, that one, the purpose is that some dudes might have 5 turns when you have 1. So depicting that is a challenge, but this is just like Indy goes once, then other people go, and then Indy goes again because it's a new turn. Okay, but so this clusterfuck this would put anyone off playing this, and no one used this if they played this, I guarantee you. Like they for sure just rolled movement or just said, okay, players go first, then enemies go, or whatever, or players and villains all act first in movement order, and then goons go. Because that would be the rule I'd use. I would just be like, okay, who's highest movement? Cool. Maybe roll 2d10 and add them on top. See who is first, and then the players act in order, villains act at some point, and goons act in the end, and it's quick. Because you want your initiative to be the quickest thing, because it's annoying. It's bookkeeping every time. It's just, I know it's not my turn yet. But anyway.
If you slow down initiative, you failed at your game system. Let's just be real. That's the number one thing you have to get right when you're doing combat. Yeah. Well, people would say, but I need to have a diverse selection of actions. That can be made up on the fly. Initiative can't be.
Yep.
And this is one of those situations where they're basically saying, no, just make it up, in part, because you're saying, oh, who wants to go first? No! The initiative shouldn't be creative. That's the best way I should put it.
Like again, like the point of decide, like it's so useless. Decide who goes first. Like even their own examples here, like it sells you on how bad it is. Right, Indiana Jones the movement of 80, Salas rating 52. They have come face to face with 2 villains, each having a movement of 48. You are playing Indy. Your friend is playing Salah. And the referee is playing the villains. Wow, unexpected. You tell the referee that for your turn, Indy wants to fire his gun. The referee tells you that villain 1 wants to tackle Indy, moving, and that villain 2 wants to reload his gun, other. Your friend says that Salah wants to fire at villain 1, shooting. You tell the referee that Indy wants to act first. The referee says villain 1 also wants to act first. Your friend Salah wants to shoot before villain 1 moves. Because Indy's movement, like, look at how long this takes, even for them to describe.
Oh.
And then also realize that it allows you to even put yourself, like, I want to act before villain 1, but I can act after Indy, that's fine. So you can just decide your order, but not because we have to roll dice somehow. Like, it's dumb. It takes too long.
Well, wait. And then in the example, it says you roll an O2, the check fails. Wait, what?
Yeah, which is also wrong.
What the fuck?
I think that's a print error because is that supposed to be an 82 and here's an 80 move?
I hope that's an 82 because
I have 2 of this book open for reasons. Let's find indie stats. If it's an 80 and it's just badly scanned, because this is badly scanned, but I mean, I can't fault and whoever did this.
That's true. That's true.
Where the fuck?
They did their best.
They were further back
in the
from
back.
where I was. Yeah. Equipment, blah blah blah. Movement 80. Assumedly it's an 82.
Yeah, assumedly.
But what doesn't make sense? Yeah. Even in their own example. Yeah. So Salah has 52 movement.
Mm-hmm.
Indy has 80 movement. So, and then the villains have 48. So it's Indy, Salah, who said, I want to act before villain 1, and then villain 1 third. So villain 1 acts. Now your friend makes a movement check for Salah. He rolls to 47, Salah gets to act first. This is superfluous. Yeah, you can act first. There's no reason to be like, oh, I want to act before him. Like, it is terrible.
So
also,
bad.
I do love this here. Like, oh, I'm fighting, and this is serious, says Indy in a big weird speech bubble. What? And if Salah, and then here's the last bit of this rule, right? Everyone who says, I want to go first, highest person rolls dice. If they fail, they don't go first. Second highest rolls, fails, doesn't go first. And so on and so on and so on until the last person who said, I want to act first, who has like a movement of 5, then just gets to act first because they don't have to roll anymore, because someone clearly has to act first. Like, it is so stupidly complicated for no damn reason.
No reason. And it doesn't add to the tension either. Like, you'd expect, let's make this slightly more complicated to add to the tension. No, it makes me hate the game.
Yeah. So the referee now asks each player what exactly his character is doing this turn, because we only know that we want to shoot gun, right? We don't know at who. We don't know what we are planning to do. Blah, blah, blah. And then you get the description of what you want to do. It's a 5-second turn, and you roll your attribute usually. Usually it's just on your attribute. And then if you do thing and it does damage, you determine level of damage. And to do that, here's Indiana Jones again. No, I wanted something else. To do that, you refer to the handy dandy chart here, which is why I had 2 of this book open. Where is it? Shit.
Where is that chart? I know what chart you mean.
It's
like all colorful and shit.
Yeah,
there
it's
it is.
The chart. So it's this part, not this part. This attribute rating stuff. So what does it mean? Well, if we roll on our attack rolled a 1 to 5. We get the lucky break as well as this hit, as well as serious. Both happens. If we roll below a quarter of our attribute, we get serious damage. What that means, we're gonna get 2. If we roll below half our attribute, we get medium damage. If we just roll a bare success, like roll like near our attribute, we get a light damage. And if we roll above, we get nothing. And if we roll 96 or above, we get a bad break. Something bad happens. Yep. And the same stuff is true for instinct and appeal.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah. And this chart is kind of shows you that for attribute ratings, somehow like stuff moves down here and I don't get it. Can't I roll under a 4th of my 4th? Like, why wouldn't that be possible? Yeah.
Like, it would be possible, and we are people that love math, you and I, but that's too hard for the people that would be playing this game
80,
apparently.
Oh no, you know what? It's actually not possible. If a 4th is 20 of 80, and then a fourth of that is 5. So technically, you're almost always rolling a crit anyway, as if you roll a fourth of your fourth.
Yeah.
But it's so stupid.
It's dumb.
You need this because of damage, which we're gonna get to now.
Yep.
So, I just explained, like, according to what we roll, we do either serious, light, or medium damage. Then we determine the location, because clearly we needed a location table on this.
Clearly, we need that.
Yeah. So, well, how we do that is we take the number rolled. Let's say we rolled a 16. We take the number, we reverse the dice, saying it's a 61 now, or 52 in the case of this example. And then we look at a table, which is surely somewhere in this book, that tells us where the hit was. Oh, that's the arts and crafts section. That's not what we want.
That's the other thing. Like, as you're scrolling through this repeatedly, there are so many moments when I was trying to get through this where I was like, where do I find this? Where do I find this? Where do I find this? And it was hard in a very short book.
Yes. Because, okay, to be fair, these are like these are the booklets on top. These would have been its own little booklet with all the rules in it, which is that would have been on, like, it's supposed to go in the middle of the table, right? That's fine. In the scan, obviously, we have to find it. But then when you look at here, so we get hit in the chest, the abdomen, the left leg, left arm, head. If we wrestle, we do a grapple, a hold, a trip, or a throw. If we punch, we get chest, jaw, gut, nose, kidney, eye, groin. Kicking, shin, groin, gut, foot, knee, hand. Okay. Does that
if you
mean,
roll a peel, I'm just kidding.
What does that mean? Well, there's another chart somewhere that tells us what it means.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, over here again. Yeah, determine location. So then we look. Oh, we don't get it. Okay, we don't get it yet. It's got to be somewhere. Yeah, good, Saturn. Good. Like, what I'm getting at with this garbage is that, oh yeah, this is the first RPG you ever need to play. Like, it's so easy to get into, and then they smother you in arcane rules and hit location tables.
Yeah, they smother you immediately.
It's the worst. Then we have types of combat. Brawling. To be brawling, you have to be adjacent. So if we are if we are A in this diagram, we can brawl anyone from B to I. Why is it like this? Why is it this?
This is the worst way to do a fight. Okay, remember what I said about looks like an engineer wrote this? Again, this is like an engineer wrote this. This is the worst way to do an example for a normal person. It just is.
The weirdest part is that later on they have like pictures of their little minis doing things.
They do that, people.
I guess they couldn't figure out how to make that happen if they are all like stacked on top of each other like that. And then you can punch, kick, wrestle. To punch, you have hand free, foot free. For kick and wrestle, both hands. Blah, blah, blah. Using the action results table. Where is that? Like, this book also is not good at telling you what the fucking the tables are.
No.
Like, if we look here,
terrible.
Oh yes, yeah, this is the action results table. Okay, that's where we determine where we hit. Okay.
Yep.
I think in this thing where we take determining range, no one cares. You can take cover somehow. There's in shooting rules. They have some stuff in there. If you take cover, it's harder to hit you. You half the prowess rating.
Oh my god. They use the concept of areas, but it's like done bad because each is 25 feet.
Yeah. But you can move squares as well. I don't know why.
Yeah. Move squares, you move areas. Yeah.
And then they explain out of the blue that we are done with damage. We don't know yet what it means to have damage, but we know that we have damage. We even know where it is. But now in making instinct checks, what does it mean? Well, if we do a success, then you have a bad. Like, if you do a basic success, you have a bad feeling. If you have a good success, you have that something's wrong and a pretty good idea what it is.
Yeah.
Like, that someone's watching you instead of just knowing something is wrong. And big pictures, you have basically figured out the trap. And lucky break is then you get the drop on them, on the people that try to. This is fair enough.
Yep.
Works for me. And if your failures don't know, you get surprised. And in that case, even a goon can act before you in a fight.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you have some specific combat action.
Yeah. You want to do something funny, like, I want to grab his feet. Because it's always about fucking feet, you know?
Jerk him off his feet. Yeah, okay,
Yep.
Here's the point. Here we arrive at the next problem. Yeah? Tripping someone does nothing. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I love this one. If your character shoots an animal, just use common sense to figure out where he hits the animal. How? It's a fucking gun. It's,
Oh my god.
Like, what do you mean? The actual results table says the character hits the tiger in the right arm. Oh, you still roll the results table, but then you append it for left frontal, right front leg instead. It's stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yep. If you're shooting ants, you just got to figure it out.
Here's damage again. We know how to determine it, but you don't know what it does yet, right? So, brawling damage, like punchy damage. It's called injuries. Injuries can lead to unconsciousness, but never death, which is fair enough in the pulpy game we are playing. Yeah, like it's Indiana Jones. So they punch each other for like as a greeting, and then it's fine. You know.
Yep.
Injuries are always temporary. Bruises and black eyes will go away very soon, even though they are not very pretty. Check to see if suffers light, medium, heavy wound. So light injury, make a strength check. If the check succeeds, nothing happens. If the check fails, your character is dazed. And all of his attribute ratings are cut in half for the rest of the combat turn and all of the next. Like this, I don't mind. On its face as a rule, except cutting in half is a big problem. Because, like, if you think Indie has the biggest stats, Indie's stats are like at. I have to go back to Indie. Solar Indie. So his prowess is 76. We half it to 38.
Yep.
Like 38 is barely better than a third of a chance to do anything at that point. Like from one punch, it's Okay, and medium injury. Make a strength check. If the check succeeds, all your character's attributes ratings are cut in half. So the next check fails, the character falls unconscious.
Yep.
So Indy can be knocked out in one punch pretty easily.
Yep. Very easily.
Like, because there's no defense in this, to be clear. You just roll under your stat and you hit. There is no point in which you can be like, but I would like to get out of the way of this actively.
Yep.
This isn't a thing. This is a very D&D kind of system. Except no one has armor.
Yeah, there's no AC that you can just beef up to get better at avoiding punch.
And then serious injury is the exact same as the medium injury.
It is, except that you don't make a check initially to see if you get cut in half. You're cut in half automatically. And then you make your strength check.
There is no functional difference between those.
The functional difference is for a medium injury, you make a strength check.
Yeah.
You don't have the strength check halved. The serious injury, you halve your attributes first, and then you make the strength check.
Oh, okay, I see. Oh,
that's the difference.
I misunderstood. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you're gonna basically mostly unconscious.
You want me to really bake your noodle now about something?
Please.
So, light injury, medium injury, serious injury. If we add one more type of injury, deadly injury. Do you know what game used this in its first edition?
No.
Shadowrun.
Oh shit, you're right. Second as well.
Yes.
But they had the
they had boxes, so
so it would build up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
they showed you how to implement it well if you want to keep a system like this.
For once you dropped the name, so it doesn't count.
Yep.
No bingo.
Exactly. It doesn't count. It doesn't count for the bingo, everybody. Yes.
And then you have wrestling, which if knowing how that punching can just knock out the dude instantly. Oh yeah, goons who they take a medium injury just automatically out.
Yeah, they're out immediately.
It says somewhere like that. Goons don't get the full rules. They get basically they are supposed to be like easy to defeat. But as soon as you have like 5 goons against you, you're probably down yourself.
Yeah.
Like it is in that case, it's kind of realistic, and it's like kind of like a movie realistic too, right? Where Indy can fight 1 or 2 guys, but many guys, Indy probably better runs away.
And action economy.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, grab wrestling. The fucked up thing with wrestling is that you say I wrestle him, and then you determine what happens randomly. Yeah. Like, I can't even decide I want to grapple someone. No, it just happens. This is, I guess, what you have to think about there is you grapple him, and then the other guy defends, maybe in like story terms, and so you didn't do what you set out to do. You can't do a hold, just a grapple because he's defending. However, since it's one roll, it ends up feeling really bad. It feels like random as fuck because let's find the table again. Here, because there's a chance that you do what you like. If one outcome of this, a grapple is basically both characters struggle. Neither character can attack a third person until one of them breaks free. Rolls a different wrestling result next turn. So what can happen? If you keep rolling low, like if I keep rolling stuff with not low, it's not a thing. And if I like as a 50% chance each turn, I keep grappling.
Yep.
So you can just be there turn after turn. I have to grapple him. Well, he has to grapple me. Some stuff, Killian. It's a bad game. Short answer. The worst initiative ever.
Worst.
But like, it's terrible.
It's so bad.
Wrestling is a waste of your action in this.
Complete waste.
Like 50% chance to bind down one person on enemy.
Yeah.
Hold. You have him in a hold, keeping him from using his hands. The head character cannot break free until he rolls his own wrestling round. He can just kick you though. He has a free foot. Yeah. And kicking can do you a medium injury and then you fall unconscious somehow. You kick him in the shin and he falls unconscious.
Immediately knocked out.
Yeah. And you trip someone, character throws the opponent to the floor in the same 5-foot square. The attacker character stays standing. There is nothing in this book that tells you, he's prone, so that means this or that.
Yeah, it does. It's not a condition. It's not anything. Yeah.
It means it does nothing. Technically, I would say as a DM, he's prone, harder to hit in ranged combat, easier to hit in melee, maybe just double your melee thing. However, that's a problem because then you have above 100, which we'll get to. And then last one is throw. The character throws his opponent 5 feet. The attacking character decides the direction, which of course thrown opponent. This can be useful if it's like you're on a ledge or something and you throw someone off it, maybe. But it's mostly functionally also just a trip. It does nothing. Because there's no component in this that ever does damage.
No, there's none.
So,
and it almost feels like they're trying to simulate the movies where, oh no, we're going to get in a fight. Oh no, now we're grappling. Oops, I accidentally threw you 5 feet.
Yes.
Because it's literally what happened.
Here's the thing. Why this is here at all. And you have to turn your brain on a little bit to figure it out. Maybe Trey, can you tell me why this is here?
Other than what I just said,
no. Okay, here's my epiphany about this as I read this last night again. I could read over it rather. This is here for the DM.
Oh my god, you're right.
To make a fight longer. Because if all my goons punch someone, that's terrible. That is terrible because Indy is going to be knocked out, Short Run is going to be knocked out, and whoever Salah is going to be knocked out in like 2-3 turns. However, if all my goons keep grappling you, you have to grapple them back and break free, and that's your action. They can immediately grapple you again, and then maybe because the roll is random, they throw you this time, or you end up prone on the floor. This is supposed to be cinematic combat, but it's not.
I just had an epiphany based on your epiphany.
Okay.
This is why all the female characters and all of the example adventurers are kidnapped constantly.
Yeah.
And that's why the wrestling rules exist.
Yeah.
Because the whole point is to kidnap them again if they get away.
Yes. Oh, we're gonna get to that once we get to the
Oh
story.
boy.
And then we have shooting, which is deadly as you would expect. But now we get to where actually these locations matter. Because it doesn't matter for brawling at all.
No.
They tell you to look at like locations for brawling. It never mentions what it does.
Yeah.
It's just you get punched in the jaw.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean? Yeah, you got punched in the jaw. It's just for flavor. It's just flavor. The GM could just be easily making it up.
Yeah, literally.
However, in shooting, and this is the only place where this matters. Light wound, chest, abdomen, legs, arms, or head. Your character's attribute ratings are not affected. The wound determining goes the same as with melee. Like you reverse your number, you refer to this table. Interestingly, chest, abdomen, legs, arms, or head. Chest, abdomen, legs, arms, head. So, not affected. Just you don't need to put the whatever. Medium wound, chest, abdomen. Your character's attribute ratings are not affected.
Yeah.
This is movie-like. Legs, cut your character's movement in half. Arms, cut your character's prowess in half. Even if you're kicking. Head, make a normal backbone check. If the check succeeds, your character's attribute ratings are not affected. If the check fails, cut all your character's attributes in half. If you roll a bad break, your character falls unconscious. Serious wound, chest, abdomen. Make a normal backbone check. If the character succeeds, blah, 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 blah. So bottom line, it's pretty bad. Because it halves your attributes, which then you often have to halve again because of circumstantial stuff like characters in cover, etc., which is where the fourth comes in. And also, multiple wounds stack up. If you get 2 light wounds in a location, it's a medium wound now. If you get 2 medium wounds, it's a serious wound. And if you get 4 serious wounds combined, you die.
Yeah. So that guy who kicked you in the knee 4 times, you're dead.
Yeah. Or you fall unconscious from it because your knee is like a super serious place to get in. But mostly you fall unconscious. The game is very much wants you to fall unconscious, obviously, because character death would be bad because we don't exactly have replacements.
Yep.
Interestingly enough, the book never tells you, hey DM, just never kill players because we don't have replacements. like, it never does it. It's just like, yeah, you could die, I guess.
I'm just imagining like the shocked kid looking at the DM, this 12-year-old looking at the DM with big eyes going, you killed Indy.
Yeah, it's also just a 1 in 20 chance for an immediate serious wound. And then, and I mean, just about, and even a bit more than that. And then just, wait, how likely is it? 91 to 1. So if I roll a 19, oh, actually, this is accidentally smart, right? Because I can only get hit in the head by a non-serious injury by most characters. But this is accidentally smart. This is not really smart.
No, it's totally an accident.
Most serious wounds will hit you in the chest.
Yep.
Because if I roll a 10 to 2, like, and the of differentiating ones in between, or the low ones basically, I'm gonna reverse those to be a 1 to 20, and then I'm gonna get hit in the chest. So good job there. Maybe that's actually on purpose. I don't know, but it feels accidental because you just put the good one at the end all the time.
Yeah, because that actually makes sense.
Yeah, because of how the math works here, right? It's since you reverse them, it's very deterministic where bad and good attack hit you. So putting the low rolls with a shitty result, that's almost terrible as well, because that means your cool attack just did the worst outcome it can.
You shot him really good right in the breastbone. Yeah, no.
Okay, I reversed my maybe they were smart comment because I don't think they thought about this.
I don't think they... Okay, never attribute to intelligence what we can attribute to mediocrity.
But I thought like at least 2 Yomi levels deeper than they ever did in this. Also, no
Yes.
there's no plot armor, but the writing of the adventures gives the plot armor, but the rules don't.
The rules don't.
So then we are feeling injuries, they just heal very shortly, like it doesn't affect you, it's like movie stuff. This is fair enough. And then we are feeling wounds, which is like, yeah, it takes weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I want in my Indiana Jones. Like, this is why I say grappling is so important for the DM in this.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you ever hit someone with a gun in this game, like you like, oh, I made a serious wound in your leg. Well, 3 weeks to heal, maybe more. You can roll and then wait another week to if you don't make it, and then you can maybe get healed. There's the rules for that, but it's still going to be at least a week or more to heal a serious wound down to a medium wound. It's not gone then. It's just a medium wound. So adventure is just over. Indiana Jones got shot in the both legs. Like what? That's how I play this. Like it's dumb.
That's the best line though. This whole one is adventure's over. He got shot in both legs.
Yeah, like this doesn't work for what they want to achieve with the game.
Oh,
like this is why we like Dallas, as dumb as that sounds. Like again, because Dallas, for what they wanted to achieve with the system, worked. They wanted to make a social game where you just fight over differing goals with your characters. It shouldn't have, it, as we said then, and I would say it for the millionth time now, that it should have never tied it to the lead duck that is Dallas, because no one in this community cares. But as a pure system, it works, and it does what they wanted to achieve with it.
Yep.
This is completely stupid and bad if you apply it to the PCs unedited. Because a lot of these examples involve people shooting at Indy. And even if their stats are bad, they're eventually going to hit him. And then good night Indy, I guess. Like, it's not the best. And
no.
They explain that goons get a bone, like, goons just... So, okay. Goons are henchmen who usually act as muscle boss, Nazi guards are goons. Villains are true bad guys in adventure. Their mental capacity often surpasses their physical abilities, which is why they hire goons. Belloc is the villain. Okay, fair enough. Villains enjoy some benefits in combat that goons do not. This is because villains are often more resourceful in a fight than their dim-witted companions. For example, goon NPCs do not have the option of stalling when they want to act in a combat turn. But they also act fucking last because everyone says we act first. If Salah is fighting a Nazi pilot, Salah always acts when he wants in a turn because the Nazi is stating when they want to act. So goons act last, we had this before, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
If a villain acts normally via the rules they made, which are terrible, blah blah blah. Also, goons can never try specific combat actions. Villains may try specific actions only if an adventure calls for it. Like grabbing the urn that is about the adventure is about is a specific action, so you could grapple over that, I guess. But goons are always just going to fight, probably going to grapple again. When it suffers a serious wound, is automatically falls unconscious. Any goon who falls unconscious cannot recover for the rest of the fight. Villains, however, suffer wounds in the same way as player characters. Okay, cool. Now,
yep, that works.
Attack in Crimcambo. Characters who in this thing. Indiana Jones, 2 goons, woman in safari clothes. So I'm supposed to play her as well. But this whole thing, like, this is super on rails. Like, blah blah, India's gone to Africa and is looking into this thing. Then you go into a place. Oh, it's been ransacked. That's weird. Instinct check tells you either there's goons here or not, and then you're just supposed to fight them.
Yep.
There we are. That's all of it. They come in and they try to get Edith, who is the woman in the safari clothes. They try to abduct her. The goons want to capture Edith and toss her out the window. Several more men are waiting below in the window, holding her stretched up. The goons don't want Indy in the way, but they have been ordered not to kill him. Ooh, the thick plottons. So Goon is in the hall behind Indy. Goon 2 is hiding in the room behind the door. Goon 1 tries to wrestle Indy out of the way while Goon 2 grabs Edith. If Indy gets into the thick of things, the goons try to knock him unconscious. Edith is no help at all. As soon as things get hairy, she sags down in a near swoon. So Edith gets captured. Because one goon is gonna occupy Indy, and the other goon is gonna grab her. And here's their stats. The stronger goon is gonna fight Indy, but he's also the slower goon. But he's also worse at fighting. And then blah blah blah. Fight them. Indy wins. Edith is captured. Now we have to go fast. Here's the movement section. Can't fault them too much for this stuff.
Yeah, this is the part where it's like, meh, this is fine.
Yeah.
This was like one of the first few chase things ever written too. So
yes, these are chase rules, and they honestly probably the best part of this whole book are these chase rules, because while they are super complex, they work for what they want to do with it. Like a lot of this is math of like, oh, this car goes this quick, this car goes that quick. How long does it take for car A to arrive at car B so we can have a fight? How many rounds of driving tests is that? Blah blah blah. And then you can, like, if you're trailing behind someone, you can shoot at their car to make the car go slower. Like you give them a flat tire, whatever. There's acceleration and braking. It is too complicated once more.
Yeah,
and I don't feel like going over it in exhaustive detail again, because I feel like we have shown you just what this is and how it works or doesn't work. But and they have the accident results, which are interesting, because depending on how fast something is, it does different amounts of damage. Yeah. Dice roll plus. So you roll a D100, I believe it is.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yep. And then you add the speed of the vehicle or other thing, like it could be on a horse or something, to it. And then you see what happens. As you see, skid, okay, if you roll low, probably a skid if you run too quick. But then it's pretty deterministic. Like if I roll high and our cars were in a normal chase, we're usually gonna flip our cars, flip and slide, flip and roll. And those do fucking damage.
Yeah. I'm laughing because you mentioned, oh yeah, this is also for horses. I was just like, oh shit. I almost had a double blowout. Help.
Wait, I think there's like this weird table here, right? A horse. So horses can do 50 speed. So I guess a horse can flip and slide.
Yes, they can flip and slide.
Double blowout. Oh, I'm sure it mentioned a double blowout for a horse doesn't do anything.
No,
it doesn't.
They don't mention that.
Oh no. I didn't even realize. So yeah, this table, you might need some DM intervention.
Yes.
But also, this does damage to your characters, not a little bit. Yeah.
God, if this came out like within the last 10 years, they would have had like a special section for swinging on vines with monkeys. Fucking Crystal Skull. God damn it. That scene triggers me every time I've seen it. I just hate it. I hate it so much. I hate that movie.
So.
You're looking at the example, yeah.
Yeah, so. Okay, running in these to a grueling chase, and you lose control of Duesenberg on the corner. So you think that's like a motorcycle? Oh, that's a car. Okay, fine. And he was rolling at 50 mph when it's flipped as a car. You must make an accident wound check. If he rolls above 50, Indy is all right. Above?
Yeah, you use the vehicle speed at the time of the accident instead of an attribute rating.
But why is this? You roll above because it's less likely as you become quicker. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They flip the logic for that reason. Yep.
Yeah. So if we roll above 50, Indy is fine. If we roll a 22 or less, Indy suffers a medium wound. If we roll a 23 to 49, void, because wait.
That's just the example. Yeah. You do the same thing that you did with other stuff where it's like if you roll half to the full amount, that's just a light wound.
Well, it doesn't say the example doesn't tell you what wound it is. Like
you gotta use the modified check table. That's why.
Yeah, but they should put it in here. They should put in here if you roll 22, less than half, Indy suffers a medium wound. If you roll a 49 to 23, he suffers a light wound. It isn't here. Like, bad example. Confusing. Also, this enters into a territory in this game where stuff can... like, you can imagine a situation where something goes above 100, right?
Yep.
If that happens, and anything in this game has a danger rating of above 100, because there's also relative about explosives, which can go up to, I said, over 300. What happens is, the first 100, you roll on that, and unless it's a lucky break, you take injury. And then you roll again for the rest.
Oh,
shit. So if we went 150 miles per hour, which is very quick in this time period, because the cars aren't that fast. But again, they have this in here, 150. Roadster can do that, or 140, but it works. So if it goes 140, means I roll against 100 damage, which is guaranteed to damage me, and then I roll against 40 damage, which I might walk away from.
Yeah, which might be cool with.
So you basically, if you're fast enough, guaranteed to have a medium wound. Makes sense, I guess, by in 140 miles per hour car crash that he would have a wound. I'm not really vibing with it though, because cumulative wounds kill you very quickly. Yeah,
there's always been this thing with games too, of just like as soon as you get in a vehicle, it's a rolling death trap every time in every single game, and it's really hard to avoid that with rules.
Saturn, I read that late, but I agree. Blowout on a horse should be losing a shoe. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So, okay, chases we have next, which is like mostly a long section to tell you, okay, you determine who is how far away from each other, and then you determine who's faster. And whoever's running away in front, they run away, and then whoever's chasing is hopefully faster. So always make your goons slower than Indy, otherwise this doesn't work, because there is no rule to roll anything to become quicker. It's very deterministic. Like, not to run quicker anyway. There's rules to shoot in a chase and make a vehicle slower or half its speed or whatever the fuck. It doesn't really work in a chase with goons. I guess you could just shoot the goons. And then the example of a chase, like it's a lot of rules here. This all kind of works. This is the most fine part of the book.
Yeah.
And kudos to them, because chase routes are hard. Because
they are.
A lot of them are a lot of chases are kind of hard to depict in a game because of how initiative usually works. Because initiative is usually a very short amount of time, but a car chase usually takes a long time. Like, relatively speaking, in like the action or time spent in a game. And since most games don't go about trying to make things cinematic, but trying to make things realistic, like in, let's say, Shadowrun again, where a combat with shooting a gun is like 3 seconds for one basic squeeze of the trigger or 2 squeezes of the trigger. So making a chase where you can where each time you shoot is basically a 3-second interval. Chases kind of suck unless you make it more cinematic, which the Shadowrun to its discredit, or no, I'm negatively referring to it.
What?
It doesn't really do.
Yeah.
But anyway, it gives you like examples for running into hazards and like, oh no, my cabbages have been run over. And then there's another. Here's your chase example. It's just like, we're chasing now the car or the goons or whatever the fuck. I don't care anymore about these examples, because every time it's just on rails. Like, what will Indy do section? This is exactly, I'm gonna chase them.
Yeah, I'm gonna chase them. I'm gonna punch them. I'm gonna shoot them. Yeah, whatever we just went over.
Yeah.
Yep. As soon as you said camel, I had this mental
Yeah,
image of Indiana Jones, bloody, bruised, covered in dust, stumbling into like a marketplace down at the Medina and going up to the vendor, putting his hands dirty and blood flecked on like his desk, looking at him and saying, "Camel, buy camel," and then collapsing.
yeah. Like here's
Because
the
immediately thought of
yeah,
a song reference.
yeah. And just like to drive it home again, like they do the chase, then they disappear. Like you can't even win the chase. That's how on rails this is.
Yeah, so on rails.
And
I hate
then
it.
you make an instinct check, and then Indy figures out that they're just under the ground here. And then what does Indy do? What do you want Indy to do? Inspect the ground or leap back? Make your decision. Great. Thank you for this decision. This great, amazing decision. If you leap back, blah, 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 that end. Oh, that end entry. The ground below you creaks and almost suddenly and drops you out from under you. You're plunged into darkness. You fall for several feet and plop onto a soft, spongy surface. The fall steals your breath, just the same. You strike a match and find that you're in a small, damp basement, standing on a rotting mattress. Rats scurry out from the mattress and scatter across the room. A wooden door stands before you. The door is unlocked. You open it to read scene 3. Like, it's not a dead end if it all leads to scene 3, where we meet the bad guy. All of them just lead to scene 3.
Yes.
Like, oh my god. And then scene 3, we have Solomon Black. Bad guy of this adventure. Is this rotund individual here? I'm gonna assume Solomon Black was in the comic. It's not a great name. I
assume so.
But sure, okay, fine. He wants to stretch it. He wants to strike a deal. And he has captured the girl to get it. And
oh god, he's even worse than the comics. I found a picture for you.
Oh, but he will point out, Wagons, that if you shoot him, his minion, like you can easily kill him, of course, but his goon will then kill the girl, and Indy would never let the girl be harmed. So clearly we are now on rails interacting with NPCs, which works exactly like you would expect. However, they have a very weird way of pointing it out, because how to talk to NPCs. When your characters talking to an NPC, there's one thing you'll want to know. Will the NPC do what your character wants? ? No? What? I can imagine more things I might want as an outcome than that. I guess it's a very boiled down version of all the possibility space there.
Yes.
But
just wow.
Yeah.
Like, this is one that's really exhausting my brain for once, and I'm like, why is this exhausting my brain? Like, Victoriana, I think it was just because there was so much, like, to pick apart and for us to rant about, but there's so much of this is just bad.
In Victoriana,
and just overtly racist.
You drilled into that a little bit, and you found, like, what the bad thing was. It was socially it was intellectually stimulating. This is just bad. And how does this work? Well, imagine you roll your stat that's for this, and then either it's a good outcome or not. Like you get different reaction levels, because we are in D&D mind here, where the NPCs roll randomly if they hate you or not. And then you
the other reason why we wanted Victoriana to be good.
Yeah.
And we kept thinking, God, like, if they had just changed this one or two things. Whereas this, I don't want it to be good. Like,
this
I don't want to improve Indiana Jones.
This is one of the historical failures, as Sandra pointed out to us yesterday. When TSR became, I don't know how old, but they had a celebration. They just ritually burned unsold book copies of this. Because this bombed hard as fuck.
The celebration was when they lost the license to West End Games.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yes, they celebrated losing the license to this. That's how bad it was.
Okay, then you can have some people have contacts, which they're friendly people you can talk to, blah. And then the villain tactics, torture, it just starts on that right away. Basically, it tells you, we don't, to its credit here, it tells you probably should gloss over what exactly happens because we want to have fun at the table. And this isn't really about that. But it's still it's the very first thing mentioned, which is weird. But then, you could, you decide, the weird thing here is, there is no checks involved in this. You would think, for NPCs, they roll a backbone check, if they spill the guts or not. Player characters can decide. So backbone has become even more useless. The only reason I don't really care that they did this is because it doesn't fucking matter anyway, because you didn't decide to put how many points to put in backbone. There's no such thing as a dump stat in this because the stats are set in stone.
Yep.
And then you have alcohol and drugs, which all characters can drink 2 drinks without being affected. As soon as you get to the 3rd drink, however, you must make a backbone check. If the check succeeds, drink doesn't affect you. And if your drink fails, cut all character's attribute in half. Continue making backbone checks. The character takes after a 3rd. If he's drunk, his character's rating is cut in half. I hope Marion has Marion does hyper high backbone because of the drinking contest. Where is she? Yeah. Backbone 80. Is very much the same we have. Yeah, more backbone than indie. Good job, game.
Yeah, they actually got something very right. They nailed that lore, actually.
Yeah. Sobering up takes a few hours, blah, blah, blah. And then drugs are going to be detailed if they happen. And this is the dumbest thing they did in terms of doing this as an introductory thing. Now, we are supposed to playing with more than one person. Need the Indiana Jones character does you pay friends a friend who wants to play the game. Actually, wait, you don't need more than one person. You just need a second person.
Yeah, you just need another person.
I thought they were adding one more because we have this room in Safari close here, but she's just like an NPC. You play this episode differently from the first 2. You don't play alone. If we don't play the first 3 with someone else, how do they know what the fuck is going on?
Just also, her name's Edith. You don't have to keep calling her Woman in Safari Clothes book.
Yeah, they
come on.
They call her Edith. They call her Edith in the text. They say Woman in Safari Clothes because that is what the fucking token is called.
Oh my god!
Because in the arts and crafts section, where is she? In the arts and crafts section, yeah, that's her. Woman in Safari Clothes. I assume these might be from the comic, actually. Or these might have been drawn by the guy who made the comic. Probably not. This is probably... No, this is...
Oh my...
No, this is not the comic guy. This is not the comic guy. Because they had a graphic... That's an artist. So the artist must have done this.
Okay. Brain is breaking slightly. So, is the intent of those is to turn them into a triangle?
Yes.
Oh my god. Because then, it shows you which direction they're facing, but then they don't have a forward-facing... Oh my god, that's... No,
they have a forward-facing triangle that shows where they're facing.
I know. That's why it's so funny to me, because I'm just holy shit.
To their credit, if you look, for example, at Solomon Black, his arms aren't this isn't just a copy of this or vice versa. They did it correctly so that you can probably look at it from the front. Okay, from the front it will look weird, but whatever. You can what you are supposed to do. It explains it somewhere.
Yeah.
You fold these into a 3, into a triangle, and then you apply glue to this and glue it on the inside.
Yep, exactly.
And then you have your cardboard cutout miniatures. Also, we have some tribesmen here. Natives. Yep. Interestingly, you don't have that. You don't have a ton of goons. You have 1, 2, 3. You're gonna have to use a Nazi for a goon at some point, I bet.
Yeah.
Like, how many copies of this? I guess you're supposed to photocopy these. Like, how else are you
Oh yeah.
supposed to have enough goons?
These were probably like perforated or something, so that you could just like tear them out and then copy them. No, I'm just marveling at them because it's just like we rarely review things that have the stuff like this in it.
Yeah.
So it's
like,
kind of cool to see.
This is like you're folding around and then gluing somehow, and then you have like whatever this is supposed to be. Cut along solid lines, fold along dotted lines, cut on sections marked with an X. I don't see the X's. But this is like, what is this? Like a dungeon wall or something? Well, I don't know. Here's like, here's the hex grid. I had to provide you all that back in the day.
Yeah, they really had to. You couldn't go to a hobby store and get any of this.
Yes, exactly, Killian. We talked about this earlier. When this came out, there were 2 movies. In the same year, 2 or 3 books, children's books came out, and there was this one comic. And they used this one comic as a basis for the game. So, female characters in Indiana Jones in that moment were first and second movie only, and this comic, which introduces this what's her name, Edith.
Yep.
And that's about all that they wrote. And then you strike a deal with Solomon because you have to, because here's Edith, and for some reason we care. This is like, if just from the pure Indiana Jones story standpoint, this works. This works as a like plot device, because the idea of they have a hostage, Indy has to work with them, and then Indy betrays them in quotation marks and frees her, and they flee, and stuff happens. Like, it's an adventure movie. I don't mind the story beats in this. I just mind how on rails it is, and how pointless kind of it is that you can't really do anything. The book doesn't want you to. You are cute, Kotzen. You are the cute one. Of course, they have to use some random no-name character. Couldn't use the best one. Oh, Marion Ravenwood has stats in this, Killian. But I'm not sure she appears in any of these example things.
Yeah, I'm not sure she does.
So now, like, the interspersement of this with these adventures is so terrible. I hate this. Because, it teaches you what you need to know, but it would fall up, like in a normal game, this would just fall apart so hard immediately, because players were like, well, instead of just chasing, instead of just having gone to Africa, can I like do research before it as to where the fuck this is and stuff? Like, go to a library, like find things out, anything, because I don't really vibe with just going to Africa immediately, because it's off the idea that someone got killed for this map. Like, maybe I photocopy this map and I don't know, maybe I memorize it and don't bring it along or whatever, you know? Theme is for you, Kotzen. Yes, it is. You are cute, Kotzen. In the afternoon, blah, blah, blah. Okay, knowledges. Character has knowledges, which is just like, characters use knowledge, you roll intelligence. Wow. For the most part. But also sometimes it's driving, in which case you roll, I think, movement. If it's not movement, it's something else. But archaeology, you can do some stuff with archaeology. Like, it's one of the only good ones here is first aid, one of interesting ones, because it can treat stuff. Like, light wounds can be gone in 5 minutes, medium wounds in 30. Oh, it takes that long. And then you cut the time in half. So this is very important in the cases where Indiana Jones gets shot in both legs.
Yeah, basically this is a lot of words to explain that instinct winds up being your general skill check for skilled things.
Oh yeah, I said intellect, I meant instinct. Yeah, mostly it's instinct. And sometimes it's like, if we have karate, we do prowess checks, of course. Like, these things are always a little rule thing, and then congratulations. And you have medicine, which can also treat wounds. Parachuting, sailing, surveying. Like, the funny thing is, they put a lot of things in here. Let's look at what the individual characters we can actually play as have, right? So, again, this goes also again as who can we even play as? We can play as Indy. Knowledge is archaeology, driving, parachuting, and surveying. Okay.
Yep.
Here's his stats. Here's his movement rate, which is derived somehow from his movement points, which I don't know how. Doesn't really matter. It says here. We have Salah, who can drive and survey. We have Marion, who can drive, lockpick, and pick pockets.
Yep.
We have Short Round, who can drive karate and pickpockets. We have Willie Scott, who can drive entertainment and first aid. And we have Wuhan, who is driving and hot wiring. And Jock Lindsay, who is driving, mechanical, and piloting. So most of these things are just for NPCs. Because your characters will never possess them, because there's no advancement in this, really. There's a kind of advancement we get to it, which is funny, which actually, that's like, I don't know, it's a weird idea they had. But also just to reiterate, like, who can we play as? Indy? Fair enough. Salah? Why would he be on most adventures? He wouldn't. He is sworn to protect the I guess he would be in America to try and get the Ark of the Covenant back. Because the Americans put it in a warehouse. Maybe he's working for the CIA now as like an agent because they have that thing. I don't know. Like you would have to make something good up, because what the fuck is Salah doing in any of these adventures? Nothing.
Nothing. No. There's so much you could invent for him.
Yeah, like you would have to, but they don't. Marion, okay, you could make her appear again. She's kind of Indy's foil. It's fair enough. Not foil. Indy's like, I don't know, girl off and on again for a girlfriend. I don't know. I mean, he ends up marrying her in Crystal Skull, right? Or whatever the fuck. None of that has happened yet. Then you have Short Round. Why would Short Round be there? In Africa.
I guess because he's everything everywhere all at once. I guess that's why.
Yeah. Like, what? Willie Scott, much the same thing. It's just such a chance. Matt.
Yes.
You just happened to meet her and then rescue her. And then
that's why the joke in my head has just been like, if somebody came to me and said, I really want to play this game, immediately I want to play Willie Scott because she has the worst attributes and she's just some club singer.
Yes. Then we have Wuhan. Again, Wuhan dies at the start of movie number 2. Everything written about Wuhan that he did in anything happened after this game came out. Everything. I don't know why he's in here. He's dead according to what they do. He got skewered by a big spear thing. No, sorry, he got shot. And then Indy skewers the guy with a big spear. That's how it happened.
Yep.
And then you have Jock Lindsay, who I don't even know who that is. Does he appear in either movie? He owns a biplane, pilot for hire. Okay. That's the guy in the first movie who betrays him. Who flies away. Isn't it?
Oh, there's a restaurant named after him too.
Like that is like the shallowest of holes you are digging. Like there is nothing in it. Yeah, I know Jock is a pilot, but is he like? Where does he appear? Like where does he appear? Like, but that's who they had. They didn't even.
Oh my god, he was in the comics too.
Yeah. Exactly, Killian. I'm not misremembering. He is the pilot in the first movie who Indy tries to get to. Right? And so, that's it. There isn't even a Brody in here. Like, I would have maybe, it might be fun to play Brody. There's some other people you could play. I don't know, remember the names because it's been a while since I watched the movie, but like, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So basically all your players at the table will have to declare that they want to play Indiana Jones, and then all roll a movement check to see who goes first to play him. Because why would you in this game that forbids you from making your own cool character not want to play Indy? Like, I can see someone wanting to play Marion. I can see someone wanting to play Salah. I can even in a pinch see someone wanting to play Short Round. Willie Scott gets iffy. Everyone found her kind of annoying in the movies back in the day.
Yes.
I think her portrayal is good, but she ends up being not very helpful. But she wasn't supposed to be helpful, right?
No.
So
He's a pop singer. What do we expect?
And then Wuhan again. He's fucking dead. Can't play him. And Jock Lindsay. Okay, yeah, maybe we need a pilot. We can hire a pilot, I guess.
Yes.
Like if we have 7 players is also like too many. But like, why? Like, you don't have enough people. So don't be like, yeah, you can't play it. Be like, yeah, put basic character creation in this game, please.
Please.
Like, this would be so easy with point buy. You can't have anything over 80. Or like, can't have any of the... Can't have fighting over 80. Can't have other stuff over 90. Is 500 points. Go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just off the top of my fucking head. That's how you do it.
Maybe we should just play Indiana Jones, but we use Dallas rules instead.
Yeah, maybe that's. I think it might work better. Imagine if they had made that. I mean, it couldn't have because Dallas came out too early. That could have been cool. Early. Like you negotiate what you. Okay, now it doesn't work really. Oh, look, you can make it in a castle. I think that's what you're making.
Okay, I see now. Okay, well, they spend more time on this than good examples.
Yep. Oh, and the rocks stand up.
Okay.
You know, I don't fault them for the arts and crafts. Back in the day, you didn't really have the other options. I don't understand this chase follow chart, and I never will. What the fuck am I looking at?
So, this came from... So, Gamma World originally had an experiment with unknown technology chart, and this is kind of similar to that.
So basically what I'm doing is... Oh, these are probably ranges. Oh, I see. Yep. So let's say we start here. We're starting in an L-shaped street. We're running down the street for 16 move. Then we come to a 5-point intersection. Then we can pick any one of them. Then we pick this. It's a 3 move to the hazard, which is, I don't know what the hazard is. We roll it. Oh, there's all of 10 hazards. Let's see. Road construction, pedestrians, huge potholes, traffic jam, rock flies up and cracks your windshield, oil slick, small child runs into the street, careless driver, fallen object, the door on your driver's side springs loose and swings open. Woohoo! It's not really a hazard. It's really a hazard. So this is good for one chase, after which you need a new table. Also, if I assume only the GM gets to see this, because otherwise you just avoid the hazard squares, maybe. But I guess you would chase, so maybe you can't avoid the hazard squares. But also, like if someone drives down here, you can just drive down here and cut them off. Because there isn't any way they can get out of here except using... except going here. Which 13, 7, 3, 7... I guess they get here first. It's dumb. This is stupid.
It's so bad. I hate charts like this. It's just to
point out why this is bad and stupid. Where are we? This is liminal space. Are we in the back rooms? Because we can't ever leave. We just run in circles, and it doesn't make sense. But things are connected, and so you end up in a pointless thing. What I'm also noticing, like the rules at one point say if there's no other street, like you back up into a wrong street and stuff like that. It can just happen. So in some of these cases that can't happen, and then they have to use the other rule. But if you just hadn't drawn it like this, it could have... it's stupid. Yeah, way too rigid too. And you can you just drive in a small circle somewhere? Like you can just always go... You can always go between these 3, for example. Just keep going left. Go left here again. Go straight, because this is, even though it's a curve, it's a straight line. Left, keep going between these 3 forever. If your cars are equally fast, it's just until one runs out of gas, I guess. Like, no. Oh, there's one dead end here. I found the one dead end. I think there'd be more, but I guess not. Anyway.
Nope.
Anyway. All of these things we can't have, like sailing and photography get explained. Why? Who cares? And then we have stuff with guns and bows and arrows and weapons, and you need these. It's all very basic because this game isn't very complicated. What I find funny is there's a distilled table of this later, but you can buy a rifle and a pistol, no problem. It's just fine. A Derringer costs $20. A gun FB50 and a rifle 200, but a submachine gun. Listen, submachine gun, $200 on the black market only. There's no way to buy a submachine gun legit. This isn't. Can't be done.
They don't realize what year they wrote this for. They really don't.
Yeah. And then, like, there's a lot of stuff in here where it's like an auto gyro you can buy for $8,000, which no one has. No one starts with that much money. Yep. Biplane, a heavy truck, light truck, sedan. They say someone buys a car. No one can even buy a car in this.
Nobody can. They'll never make enough money as an archaeologist professor.
Yeah. And then you have dynamite, which is funny because this is just in here. Like they don't the explosive route specifically, but let's read what dynamite is. Dynamite, or TNT as it's commonly called, is a useful but highly dangerous material. It isn't a very stable explosive either. It's prone to going off at the wrong time. No, it's not.
What?
That's nitroglycerin, which is the active ingredient dynamite. But dynamite is nitro mixed with sand, so it's stable, guys.
Yeah.
If your character is carrying dynamite and takes a fall or goes over a large bump, the dynamite could go off. No. Anytime dynamite falls 10 feet or more, anytime characters handle it roughly, the referee should roll a D100. If it rolls a bad break, the dynamite explodes. Cool. A single stick of dynamite has a danger rating of 80. When a stick explodes, it affects all characters in the same area, which is 5 squares. For each additional stick of dynamite used in a single explosion, add 20 to the explosion rating. You also add 5 feet to the area that the explosion affects. For example, a bundle of 14 sticks of dynamite has a danger rating of 340 and affects a 90-foot square area. Let's think back on the injury rules, right?
Oh my god, ow.
So you take damage against 100 because we can't roll above that. And unless you roll lucky break, you take a wound. Medium. No, sorry. You roll half and then under your toughness. So, under the rating, over the rating, whatever the fuck. You will take several wounds. 3 to be exact. And then you probably take a 4th. Like it is, you kill yourself, which is it's dynamite, it makes sense. But also, this should be in the rules section somewhere. Also, how do I yeet dynamite at someone? Because this seems very effective. Do I just roll a prowess to yeet it? I guess I must, right? Because obviously, it's the first thing you think of. It's the Indiana Jones movie. Of course, someone's going to throw a stick of dynamite.
Oh yeah,
like it's a way better weapon than most guns. Because it just affects an area. There's no roll against it, and there's roots in it somewhere like for stuff like if it skids in another circle. But the area of explosion is big enough that it probably doesn't matter.
Yeah,
and then. Here's dangers. You can fall. You can drown. Drowning is one of the quickest ways to kill you because if you fail, you have your attribute for further checks, and each time you fail, you drink water or get water in you, and if you get water in you 5 times, you die. So if you start drowning, you move half your attribute. If you keep drowning, you have it again, and then you have to make a check to not die. Over the course of 5 rounds, basically.
Okay.
And you're probably not gonna make it, so fuck you.
Also, Valheim uses Indiana Jones RPG rules, basically.
Pretty much does. Also, it's like harder if depending where you are, it's fucking dumb. Okay, Cotton.
So fucking dumb. Oh my god.
Boop. There we go. There's fires that can do damage to you, blah blah blah. There's a bunch of stuff that can do damage to you. It's poison as well. We have some poison for you. and then antidotes, irrational fear, and then there's irrational fear step. This is the only time they mention backbone, and the only outcome of an irrational thing is, So Indiana Jones doesn't like snakes. We all know this.
Yep.
So Indiana Jones tries to pick up a thing, but there's a snake on it. So he has to roll backbone. If he makes it, he powers through and picks the thing up.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't, he can't pick the thing up. So what's he gonna do next? He's gonna wait and then pick the thing up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly what he's gonna do.
It doesn't matter. Like maybe you find a way to use a stick to put the snake away or something. Like it is never really an impediment, and the stat is pointless. But again, since we didn't make characters, I can't call it a dump stat.
No, you can't. You can't call anything a dump stat in this kind of system.
Yeah. We have supernatural events, which are supposed to be rare but happen because this is where we are.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have major. Oh yeah, and then the adventure, major goals, having fun while you play, getting into adventurous spirit. Yeah, please do that. Playing the good guys. Yes, you're supposed to be the nice people. It makes sense.
Yep.
And then here's the funny part. Here's the part I love. Earning player points.
Player points.
These rules are optional. If you don't want to earn points in your adventure, you can skip this part of the rules. However, the rules can help your character and maybe even save his life when things get sticky. Now you're interested, right? To show that you and your character have both been doing well in adventure, you can earn player points. What are player points? There's points. How to win them. At the end of every adventure and at the start of some episodes, lists of PC and NPC objectives are given. These objectives list goals, blah, blah, blah. You can achieve goals to get these points. You can also be voted on to get these points. And now here comes the part that is interesting. The players and referee also award player points to each other at the end of an adventure or episode. Each person can get 3 player points based on how well they played and on how much fun he added to the game. You give out and receive player points by answering these 3 questions. Did the person make the game fun to play? Did the person play the part of his player character or his NPCs well? Did the person have good ideas? First, the referee applies these questions to each player. For each question he answers yes to, he gives the player a point. Then the players in a group apply the same question to the referee. Keep in mind that you want the referee to be fair with you. You've got to be fair with them. With him. Especially when the player sacrifices his character's life to save another character. He automatically gets 15 player points to use for his next game. They can't make characters! Like, the thing that drives you insane in this, really, the most, this line, because there's like a hint of, hey, maybe if this product is a success, we will give you another book where you can make a character, but this isn't in here. God damn it. You can't have more than 15 player points at any one time. You probably earn more than 15 player points over the course of player's life, blah, blah, blah. You can spend them. 5 player points spent, you can reduce the severity of one of your character's wounds or injuries by 1 level. So there's this luck to reduce the wounds. That is the main use. Which, there's no other use for them. Isn't. Use the severity of wound. Like, this is... what I like about this, in an abstract way, is the idea that the DM gets, like, points for something. I like that as an idea because I think most games don't do that, and if they do it, they often do it in a convoluted way that I don't really care about. But I kind of want there to be a system that does that well.
I do too.
And like some systems do it okay, but I don't really vibe with how they do it. We've been over this in previous episodes. But in this, it's just like, yeah, you can give the DM some points. What's the DM using those for? Well, nothing. I guess. Like, what is the deeper meaning of taking away your player's fun by being like, nah, he isn't really injured. I've spent points that you gave me. Make this fight longer. But also, like the idea that it states outright, you should be fair to your DM and be nice. Because otherwise Steve is just going to be that guy next game and like send 50 goons who all have guns and shoot you. Like, what? Spend 15 points of the player's GM for once. That's a good use of those points. That's a good of X drone. 77624. That's a very good use of those points. Like, it is. Why? Oh yeah, and then we have paying the bills, how to earn money, regular jobs, freelance architect. Like, I don't give a crap.
Yeah.
I don't need these rules. I do not. This is a fucking Indiana Jones adventure game. Like, they pick priceless artifacts off the ground. Surely they have some money somewhere. I don't care.
This is something that, like, whenever you play vampire or mage or whatever, you're like, I'm glad they fucking abstracted this. This is the kind of game that would benefit greatly from having an abstract money system.
Yeah, this is like the dumbest ever in this, because imagine the Indiana Jones movie where Indiana Jones like, yeah, well, I would really like to fly to Africa, but my paycheck comes in on the 15th. Like,
I know, it adds to the tension.
I can't go there for a week and a half now. It's too bad about my student who got knifed. But I just can't. I mean, my archaeology check is only going to arrive on the 15th. Like, it's the worst.
They docked my pay for that last student I whipped in the face accidentally while trying to whip a cigarette out of their mouth. Oh my god. This is like... now I'm imagining Harrier Dubois adventuring archaeologist instead.
Yeah, it's true. This would fit one of those where it's like a bumbling idiot is on the case.
Oh my god.
But it just isn't like the movies don't ever tell you India doesn't have money. The movies don't care, and neither should you.
No, you really shouldn't.
And it's traveling rules, how long traveling takes, blah blah blah. A short timeline of like world events. We're in the 30s to 40s, obviously, when in these movies take place, the first movies.
Yep.
Unless some historical sites, this is not terrible, because you can use this like as inspiration for your own stuff.
I do like that they did this. Because this is where, okay, so this is what a lot of like mid to late 80s TSR products did okay at, was, okay, we've given you all this crap that doesn't make any sense. Now here's the section for ideas. But they don't bluntly tell you, hey, do this. Instead, they're just like the St. Peter's Basilica in Italy. Okay, we found a crypt. Do what you want to do with that.
Yep. And then also like, this is a time before in the internet and Wikipedia where stuff like this is kind of obscure knowledge. Like, you might have heard of the Fountain of Youth, but has an American heard of the Kingdom of Prester John, which is one of the funniest and funnest historical things. Christians were just convinced that far in the East there must be another Christian kingdom somewhere.
Yep.
And then they thought that the Jews, like the Christians in Ethiopia, in that area, were them for a while. And now who knows? And there's Loch Ness, which people have done. So like, you kind of need to give something here.
Yeah.
And then they tell you how to do it, that you shouldn't have to wing it, blah blah blah. Like, these parts aren't actually also good in comparison, because this game is a clusterfuck.
Yep.
And then like they tell you at one point, building World of Adventure, like, I want to get to the specific place where they tell you how to make a villain. Here it is.
Creating NPCs, yeah.
So let's look at these creating NPC step. When you create a non-player characters for your adventures, whether they are villains, goons, or contacts, follow these steps. Make a photocopy of the blank NPC sheet from the evidence file. Thank you. I could probably have come up with that on my own, but okay. Decide if the NPC is a villain, goon, or normal person. Roll D100 for each of the NPC's attributes. Write down the results in the normal column on attribute ratings. If the NPC is a goon, add 10 to each strength and powers ratings. If the NPC is a villain, add 10 to all the ratings, but nothing can go over 100. Do the multiplication division stuff for these tables, where we have the doubles and the halves and the quarters. Give the NPC a weapon if they need one. Give the NPC some special knowledges if they need it. Give the NPC any equipment he needs, such as a car or radio. Give the NPC any special characteristics you want. cool beans. So, has anyone spotted the problem?
Oh my god.
For a list that tells me to photocopy the sheet, I expect step 2, step 3 maybe to be decide what, step 2 actually, what kind of character is this? Is this a professor? Is this a 90-year-old invalid man? Is this a child? Is this a street vendor of cabbages, for example?
Yes.
And then let's roll our cabbage vendor. D100. I'm very curious. That's right here. So, cabbage vendor, probably not a villain, probably not a goon, so let's say NPC. So,
yeah, NPC.
We have a 15 for strength.
Nice.
It's not very good, but hey, there we go. I forget the order of that. Let's find a sheet real quick for that. What's below?
I'm going the wrong way.
Here we have. So 15 strength. 94 movement. So it's really
damn. This is a fast cabbage vendor.
Precise 50 for prowess.
Okay. Okay in a fight.
A 3 for backbone.
Okay, so a very cowardly, very fast cabbage vendor.
39 for instincts.
Who is not that perceptive or good at...
Pearl XXX, thank you for the follow. And last but not least, whoa, 97 for appeal.
Oh, damn, this is a sexy, frightened cabbage vendor who's fast.
Who's fast, but very, 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 very cowardly and very, very weak. Like, now imagine if the cabbage vendor was a villain with the mighty strength of 28, and the mighty backbone of 13, with an appeal of 100. Like, what am I doing? And I decide like it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Oh.
Rolling D100s is so swingy in this. Like, what do you mean? Like, imagine if the cabbage vendor was a goon. Like, you can't use this guy. It's like a stick figure. It runs away immediately because of his backbone being so shitty. Like,
oh my god! I just love that image.
Kind of want to know if players would choose to kill the Nazi child because Nazi or Spain because child. Oh, that's the real question. But I don't know. Like, children can't be Nazis. They can only be indoctrinated to be Nazis, so there's no Nazi children, per se. I guess if it's like Hitler, we're going piss, I don't want to go. But you see what I mean. Like, these rules, like, obviously doesn't work. There should have been a point-buy system. Like, if we just add these together, 10, 16, 24, 104, 184, 254, 324, 404, 464 points. So if you like say, you get 450 points, goons get 400 points.
Yeah,
goons can't have more than 60 strength and prowess. Villains can't have more than 80. By the fucking points. NPCs also get 400. Player characters get 450. Indie loses a bit of appeal, so we get 450. Problem solved. The character creation done.
Yeah,
it is not only stupid that they didn't put it in, it is also even stupider that they didn't think in this easy fucking system to put character creation in there. Would have been exactly this long.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been like 2 paragraphs.
It would have been.
You get this many points, decide. Like, you can go fancy with me, like, any point above 60 costs double. Ooh, and you get 500 points. And something like that. Like, it would have been trivial and would have made this game a general game with Indiana Jones in it. Like, you can play indie, but you can also play your cool Indiana Jones compatible character called Bindiana Bones. who just has every stat one higher than indie, except for Backbone, because Backbone doesn't matter. So he's one cooler than indie in every way. And then you come up with a little bit of background for like, just pick a few knowledges, pick a few languages, pick an irrational fear, roll 10 D100 for money, I don't know, and buy a weapon with that. Done.
So easy.
Like it would have been a page in total.
They could have just said, okay, in this game you're playing either an adventuring archaeologist or the friend of an adventuring archaeologist. Like, start with that premise. This is how many points you get for everything. This is how many knowledges you get. This is how much of this. This is how much of that. If you want to start with like a cool thing like a plane, okay, that's like an asset that you will always have. Stuff like that. That's very easy.
And like, if you want to get a bit fancier, you can be like, okay, these kind of jobs are useful for an archaeologist in the real world. List. These kind of jobs are probably also useful for an archaeologist in the Indiana Jones world, because like, or as contacts, and there's people who might be on this adventure with you. Like you might have the I don't know, the rich benefactor. You might have the swashbuckling rogue who like gets you into places. There's all sorts of cool things. It's just pulp adventure. Like honestly, like, this has been obvious the whole time. Like this game is bad. If you want to play Indiana Jones style game, honestly, just play Pulp Cthulhu.
Yeah, that's the best one, honestly.
It's even D100.
Like, yeah, it's even D100. Yeah, like you could use Pulp Cthulhu. There's so many other games that you could use too, but Pulp Cthulhu is the most accessible one in my opinion, because they still are releasing books for that stuff. Whereas like other systems, it's kind of hit or miss, like the adventure system.
Yeah, I say Pulp Cthulhu because it's like you can easily see, like it's just like how indie is Pulp Cthulhu with minimal supernatural elements.
Yeah,
like there's usually just the artifact you fight over. There's never like a demon coming to get you, or a Shoggoth eating your face. There's just, we have to get the Ark of the Covenant back.
Yep.
Oh, these stones seem to be powerful. We should make sure they don't do a Kalima ritual with them.
Yep. Let's get the skull. You know, it's easy. It's very easy.
Like this is the biggest ball drop I've ever seen. Because I'll be honest with you, in 1984, had this had character creation and a bit more general outlook on how to play an Indiana Jones style adventure, and maybe a simpler initiative rules, which aren't completely bonkers dumb, I don't see how this is bad, but they just made it terrible.
Yeah. Like, I think that this is just a central theme that we've been returning to more than once now, is just like the one or two things that you didn't do or that you failed to do right are getting completely in the way of this actually being successful or good.
Yeah. Like, let it sink in that if they had put this questionnaire about making NPCs 1-to-1 at the start of being like, creating a player character, like this much information, I would be like, okay, these rules suck, but at least we can make a character. Like rolling these stats seems pretty shitty when Indy has everything at least at 70. Okay, strength 68. When he has everything above 68, like it seems shitty that I have to roll my stats, so I'm probably gonna cheat on my rolls because fuck, why not?
Yeah, fuck why not?
And but it would have made the game infinitely better. Because guess what? Since you have a blank NPC sheet, just write PC, just erase the N. Done. You can paint, and your players can paint a little hat on top of their silhouette here.
Exactly.
Give it parachute pants.
Exactly.
And then they have this disco indie.
Disco indie, yes.
Yeah. Like put like plateaus with little fish on the bottom. And it's so easy. Why? Why didn't you do it? Why? The world is too cool for more than one indie, but why though? Like,
that's so stupid.
I can only assume like I can only assume studio meddling or something where someone's like, no, you have to put indie in, and indie has to be playable.
The 10,000 mile above perspective is yes, to answer your statement. It would be studio meddling. Also, I don't know if Lucas had anything to say about any of this. It's just all that stuff. And that was the thing about licensing products back then, was that like you have a studio exec going, okay, you need to put this in there, or you need players to be able to do this. And then the designer's like, okay. And then they do it, and then it's terrible.
But what 7624 says, being able to roll a character is fun even when they are roll low. That is true. Unless I'm setting out, like, I want to make, I don't know, a cool pilot guy. And then in this game, if my role for the one stat I need to be a pilot is just at the 5, because we roll down the line, then my character is broken. So I would just reshuffle these around, roll again, blah, blah, blah. Also in this game, if you have stats below 50, you basically are going to mostly never do well, because let's look at, I think Short Round has, his lowest stat of all of them is 44 strength from Woody Scott. Okay, let's look at that over. Yep. So if you get any injuries, you half this to 22, 1 in 5, a bit better. If you then half it again, it's 1 in 10. You're not gonna try for a strength anything then. But also all things quartered are kind of shitty. So what also happens in this game as soon as people are injured is that fights devolve into I missed, which isn't fun. This isn't fun in a game about Indiana Jones level of action.
Yep.
Because obviously, like, the DM can be like, oh, you like attack him, but he jumps away at the very last second, and so on. So like, you put more legwork and you can keep it interesting, but it will only work for so long. A player who's been sitting there trying to roll above a 38, below 38 to hit, and missing that roll for 5 turns in a row, it's gonna be frustrated as fuck with your game.
Yeah.
Because they feel like nothing is going right, especially in a game like this where you have no active defenses and you're just going to get pummeled at the same time. Like, imagine how comical it is. We talked about grappling earlier, that you have to succeed another grapple to get out of a grapple. And as soon as you get injured, it's halved. And then as soon as you get a grievous injury, it's like a 1 in 5 chance for Indy to get out of this grapple at all.
Yep.
If you then you roll that, but then you roll grapple again, but so you're still grappling, because you only get out of the grapple if you roll another result on the grappling table. Like, it ends up completely defeating it. That these are very swingy modifiers, which they apply very often.
Very often. Like, that's why. So there is that difference between systems that have like a pool, like hit points, or boxes, like Vampire and Shadowrun, versus games like this where damage is a condition. And when you have damage as a condition that like affects your stats, it can either be well done, Savage Worlds, or it can just go downhill very quickly, like this.
Yeah. And again, Hex 7624. Yes, fair enough. They didn't let you do it because the rules they made for NPC creation are terrible. But we all can see, and I already walked us through it, the very, very easy way we can make a good character creation for this. It's just point buy. End of story.
Yep. And
then you can even maybe be like, Indy, he is like in legend, so you start a bit lower than him, but then you also get these points, these action points, and you can spend them to increase your stats over time. And then you have progression in your game, which you just doesn't have either.
Yeah,
the only progression is getting money, which you can only basically use to buy vehicles, which you will crash.
Yep.
and what's the point there?
What's the point?
And then
Yeah.
also, since it's supposed to be a globe-trotting game, I buy a car. Yeah, your car is in America. Awesome. Where's the adventure? Oh, the adventure is in Italy, because that's where the basilica is, which we are looking at today. Can I buy a car in Italy? Sure. How much money do we have? It costs a few $1,000s. I don't have that much. Fuck. Can I bring my car over? Yeah, it's gonna take like a month on the boat. Like, it's not conducive at all. Indy just gonna steal a car anyway. So why do they have point cost? There's always gonna be this extra motorbike Indy can take. It's not even locked. But yeah. Then they give you some more scenes in this adventure, which I'm gonna gloss over. You just see an example fight diagram, which I think these facing ideas, they kind of work.
Yeah, they kind of work.
Except that this game doesn't have, this game has sort of rules for surprise, but it doesn't really take it into account very often.
Yeah, kind of weak.
There's a particular case which they put in some way. I don't want to find it, but I can explain. So let's say you are this goon, and this native is sneaking up on you, right? Goon does his notice check by intuition, fails. Doesn't notice this guy. This guy gets the drop, attacks, and the GM is going to be like, let's say this is a player character. Yeah, you get attacked like in the. You get damaged from like an arrow striking you in the arm. And then if the DM didn't specify that it's coming from the back, technically this guy could be like, well, I look for the enemy, but because they didn't say, and this is the way, I don't want to search for it, but if you don't say I look behind me, then you still don't notice him, the other guy. The other guy gets another surprise round on you.
Oh.
So in a more complex scenario, it's like there's a sniper on the roof, let's say. You get shot. You failed your notice. You failed your check. Don't know where the sniper is. You get shot. You can roll another check. You failed. You get shot again. So potentially... you just fucking die and not notice anything, because the first shot halves your attribute for noticing.
Yeah.
The second shot potentially quarters your attribute for noticing. And then, what's the point? Then you can just get cover.
Out. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, And then, again, I'm going to gloss over the adventure because it's an adventure. It's very railroady. Mostly there's decisions of, do you do A or B, and A does nothing, and B is how the plot will progress. Which is very bad and teaches the DM exactly the worst kind of lesson about how to play a game like this, or any game, really.
Yes.
And then there's the arts and crafts section, which tells us how to assemble our stuff. And we have, we do have this. Thank you.
Thank you for the index. Yep.
We have the chase chart, which we went over earlier. We have the modified check thing, which I think is on the back of this booklet.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough, so it's always kind of available. And
always available, yeah.
Here's our stats. Here's an empty map icon. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Is this supposed to be the map? Here's an empty telegraph thing, which you can use to write in.
Oh, those are empty aids that you can use, yeah.
Here's like the... there's a secret island here. It's circled, like... With it have done. Oh, he knew what he knew what it was called. What is it? It's a tiny hotel room. The goon is behind here. Why these are interspersed, I don't understand, because I guess the point is, like, when Indy is on the back of this, so you have to photocopy Indy anyway. You can't just cut him out. So pointless, so never mind. I would have interspersed them. Here's a little village, very small huts, but one square is an area, so that's how they solved that. Very, very weirdly built. Then like this is not a good corner. This is like barely thick enough for one person to get through.
Oh, those are the 25 feet squares.
Yeah, but this is like 3 feet wide. This is like 1 foot wide. Mm-hmm. This is like 2 feet. Like it's not very. I wouldn't build my village like this, but whatever.
Yeah,
isn't really important. National Museum from the desk of Marcus Brody. You have some empty stuff. Can't afford them. Here's some dudes. They look like they are gold dipped. I don't know what this adventure ends up being. And then we have some really cool art, which is probably from the comic.
Looks kind of like it is. Yeah.
Here we are with some of tables. Oh yeah, here's all of the stuff that modifies you, which is crazy because targeted long range, a quarter. Serious wounds in arm, a quarter. Character hasn't slept in 24 hours, a half. 48 hours, a quarter. Like, ouch.
Yeah. These are big ouches very quickly. It's just, no. Just no. It's too much.
Some of these are some lucky breaks and bad break examples, which is fair, but there's not enough of them. Actual results we went over. So accidentally both better than you think and worse than you think. Here's the condensed item table. Here's the turn sequence, which is no, you need more explanation than this because we went over it.
Yeah, that's bad.
The movement thing, which I don't understand this. Like, this is the speed, I guess. This is the amount of areas in 5 foot squares they can go at most, question mark?
Yep.
And if they go this way, what is the R supposed to be? Red line speed.
Yeah, red line.
So, and
basically where things get dangerous. Yeah. And then if you scroll up slightly, that's where the movement speed, movement rating to your movement speed,
okay,
or your walking movement is converted.
Okay, so it's pretty. What do you mean? 70 to 100 is 25. What is maximum supposed to mean? We can't have over 100.
Yeah. What the heck?
So they purposefully made Indie faster than everybody else, so they can always catch up to the damsels. And there we are. That's the whole product.
Yep, that's it. God, it could have been way better. It just really could have been.
Yeah.
Just like once again, the two things that you leave out will kill everything, honestly.
Oh no, that's the villain. Oh no. Oh no. We aren't at 3 hours yet, and here's the cabbages, obviously. Yeah, he is a peel of what we roll 98. I forget. Can't zoom in on him.
Our active cabbage man.
I can tell that your heart isn't it because there aren't any memes.
No, like I can't meme this because it'd be like beating a corpse because this is an old product that obviously they had to make because I'm sure TSR was going through issues, so they're like, okay, they're going to pay us to do this, so we have to do it.
Yes.
I'm sure all that was going on. I'm sure there was politics involving it too, and yada yada.
And here we we need nothing more than this man to explain immediately why this game would have been better with character creation.
Exactly, like this right here. I think this is the central thesis of it. Is this just like we have done game systems where you really don't create your own character at all, and we don't like any of them.
Yep. And this is the most you could have just given us the character creation rules I've ever seen, because it's literally just 6 stats, 6.
Yeah.
And you derive movement a little bit. Like, it's so easy. Why would you do it so easy and then not make characters makeable? I don't get it. Yep. And it's the most obvious flaw of any game we've ever had. Like with other games, the flaws are also obvious. But like The combo of so easy, so simple, and so like just not giving it. You don't get it. Don't get it.
I'm fine with simple systems where it's just like, okay, this is your fight stat and this is your I do stuff stat. I'm fine with simple systems like that because sometimes a simple game like that is fine, but there is such a thing as doing it even that wrong. The sense of power, the implied menace are unmistakable.
The voice is rich and almost without accent. Please put away this ridiculous weapon, Dr. Jones. You will not need it here. Okay, she looks different than I expected. These dudes have if they have like black, these black people wear blackface to be this dark in the face. What's going on here? I guess they are allowed. I don't know. I think I'll just hang on to it for a while if that's all the same to you. I've found it helps me sometimes to get answers. And I think you owe me a few, no? For instance, who are you? And why are you threatening Miss Dunn and me? Have you been threatened, Dr. Jones? A lotus I sent to escort you were exceeded my orders if they harmed you. But you are right. Introductions are in order. My name is Solomon Black. I'm a businessman. I think you will find our interests are complementary. If it is for that reason I have had my agents monitoring Miss Dunn. Like, okay, he looks like a villain. I'll give you that for free. He acts like a villain, and I don't know, like, why? Oh, I don't like this. Don't like this either. This looks weird. His face looks weird.
His arm is like all, what the fuck? I'm gonna crouch while doing this. This looks
like Harrison Ford of today made this picture. Stood for this picture. This picture like with a arthritic back and bad knee and whatever the fuck.
Yes.
I know it's a shadow. This is supposed to be shadows, but it's not. I don't like. I know this is supposed to be shadows too, but this is also just them not wanting to draw two faces on these people.
That's what it is.
Literally faceless goons.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
Which I'd vibe with more if they were like drone goons, you know?
And then they have like male model bodies, so it's just like, what? What? Yes, oh no, the goon is hot. Oh no.
The goon is hot. Yeah, imagine if the goon rolled 100 on a pier, like he said to cabbages.
Yep. Sexy cabbages, what can I say?
That is really... it feels so phoned in because you wouldn't... Like from the stats they put out, right? For the characters, they know everything has to be above a 50 to even be useful. So why is it roll D110 for a villain? Like, you can so easily make a villain that has no prowess at all, and then never hits the shots. It's so dumb.
Yeah. It's just, no.
Also, interestingly enough, the game tells you roll 2d10 plus something. I don't think it ever really uses that anywhere.
It never uses it anywhere.
You might have been asked to roll 2d10. Maybe in the adventure sometimes where it does where something happens. I have not remember seeing it anywhere.
No, like they explain that and then they don't do it. They just don't.
It tells you that this product was kind of rushed out the door to meet a deadline, aka the second movie coming out.
That's also true.
Which might explain why a certain Wuhan is in here, because they didn't know you would die. Because they just got an actor and I'm like, oh, Wuhan, that's like last time Sulla lived, surely Wuhan, the adult, also helps Indy out and lives. Like clearly the child won't die, but let's put Wuhan in. Oh no, he's dead. Oh no. How unfortunate.
Dang it, Wuhan.
Also, what do you mean Wuhan has some knowledge of archaeology? He doesn't have knowledge of archaeology. It would be up here.
Yeah, it would be up there.
You have absolutely no mechanics for someone to be dabbling in anything. Either you can do it or you can't.
Yeah, it's all or nothing in this game.
Master of Disguise? No, it doesn't have knowledge disguise. What do you mean? Is any of these equally bad? Willie can speak some Chinese. No. It's not in the languages. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
No Chinese. Swatron doesn't get notes. Marion doesn't get notes. Sarah doesn't get notes. And Indy wears glasses to work in astigmatism. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that detail.
There's no consequences. He also doesn't really wear glasses anywhere, but except to read a book in the movies. So who cares?
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe this one I can file down to, I put my glasses on to read this book. You wear glasses? Well, only to read, really. I have an astigmatism, but it's not so bad. Like a little character detail that comes up in a scene somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But what does it mean I can speak some Chinese? Either you understand them or not. Like, I guess language is supposed to be very fluent, but no, game, please.
There's just no mechanic for it.
Yeah, there's nothing. So stop acting like there's more intricacy there. There isn't.
Yeah. Stop pretending there's depth. There's no depth.
Certainly no cabbage time. Yeah, we don't really get, and we don't even get the Solomon stat block. It's somewhere in the book, I think. All the people just get their stats mentioned as they go into a fight
introduced,
have to do something. Like, honestly, the best part of this is probably arts and crafts, like making these little figurines.
Yeah.
Because honestly,
the best part.
Using this, if you can draw using this technique, isn't the worst to make like figurines for your game.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Like, and especially if you stick to the size and then print out on A4 or normal printer paper, you're gonna get like miniature workable things probably. And this is way cheaper than buying a bunch of miniatures. We'll have to put some work in to find like pictures of that are in these poses, especially all the ass pictures. Which
all the ass pictures
could be easier or harder to find for certain people. No, yeah. This could have this part if all the games insist that you play with like hex grid paper. These could have been in more games because I like the idea of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen them in a couple other games. I can't remember which ones off the top of my head, but I appreciated their existence.
Yeah.
Especially as a kid.
Yeah. I guess just the thing of, I get it. You want to steal me minis, but what if I don't want to play with minis?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm kind of. This is kind of it. This is the Indiana Jones game. Like, it fails on every level except for some small details.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not in any way worth anyone's time. You can make up a better system at a table, like, immediately.
We just did. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the long and the short of it. Is it's just like, if you want D100. God, people beat D100 to death, especially Call of Cthulhu. It's just how it is.
Yes, Eldritch Grandpa, thank you for the follow. Like, what I would say, if you want to make this game, little less stat, but then just say it's a -10 if you get a wound, or a -10 if you have to shoot someone in cover.
Yep.
And taking like a cover for your characters is free because you're cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Then you have like a more playable system, or maybe you get bonus. Maybe you even start with higher stats, and then you use them, because I don't know. Like, there's just so much you could do instead of this. Yeah.
And then, if this had been released years later, it could have been a generic Indiana Jones, Lara Croft, whoever.
Yeah. I will say this is one of those things where I will point out how another system is bad, and say that this game kind of does something accidentally that could have fixed that. Cthulhu, normal Cthulhu as well as Pulp, it's also a D100 system, and you can, to be considered like being able to have a job in anything in a Cthulhu setting, basically, your stat is supposed to be 50. So, to grab the obvious example, let's say you're a pilot. Let's say your stat is 50. So, if I have to roll to land the plane, which feels like the one time I would roll maybe for something, especially if there's like high wind or some sort of problem, right?
Yep.
Having a 50% chance to not make it and crash seems bad. So the idea of, okay, sometimes you double your attribute, your stat, and you roll that is really good. Because if it's like, okay, under normal circumstances where like the plane is not damaged, if there's a standard roll you have to do anyway, you double your stat.
Yep.
So that at least it's a 1 in 20 chance for the crit fail to happen instead of a 1 in 2 chance for you to miss your roll and something bad happens as you land your plane.
Exactly.
Because
then also that's for I'm an idiot, but I have somebody telling me how to land the plane, but I have to do it. That also covers rolls like that.
Yeah. Exactly. Like just pointing that out. That is a rule that I would have liked to see in a Cthulhu game. Is like, if it's a routine thing for the job, aka if you're a pilot, you know how to fly a plane under normal conditions. And if you have to if the DM deems it necessary to make a roll, double your stat. I would have liked that to be in there, just because, yeah. This is Indiana Jones lands the plane. Ataraxian, yes, but I'm talking about specifically about like a Cthulhu game right now, which you should play. You should play Pulp Cthulhu instead of this. We already said this. Pulp Cthulhu immediately gives you the archaeologist archetype. You can just make an archaeologist in it. So just do that.
Very easy. And
there's other systems you could play as well. Like, yeah, for real. This is such a waste of time, especially if you get into a fight, because, you know, I go first. No, I go first. No, I go first. No, I go first. Okay, what do you do? Well, I shoot. I dodge. I shoot. I run. I brawl. I grapple for some reason. Okay. Well, who is highest mobility? Oh, okay. You roll your thing. We have to spend 15 minutes on setup for this fight. It is terrible. It is immediately terrible. Everyone hates it.
Yep. It is the worst way to do fights. It really is.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah. But I think I'm done with this game.
Yeah. Like, I don't have... Okay, so it's very rare for me to sit here and go, I don't have anything I can take away from this.
I have 3 more questions.
Yes.
What is your favorite part of this game if you had to name one?
The crafts part at the back.
Fair, good choice. I would have said that. My choice will now be giving the DM some good boy points for doing DM stuff. I wish the game had done something with it. It was just like the idea of sitting there being like, oh, the DM did about two things right today. I don't think you had good ideas, though.
It's funny because, like, I used to do something similar to that when I ran Tabletop for like 12, 16 hours at a time. Because at the end, I would be like, okay, what was your favorite part of the session? And then I'd go around the table. And I would not give XP if we couldn't come up with things. We just played for 12 to 16 hours. There must have been something memorable.
Yeah.
It's different when you have 3-hour sessions, but like when we did really long sessions, it was super important because then we retained it for next time too.
That's right. At long sessions, you can usually name that. What is your least favorite part of this?
Okay. My least favorite part, it really has to be character creation. Because there isn't one.
Yeah. I think that's the most important failure this game makes. However, my least favorite part is the initiative system.
Yeah, like I think it's actually worse than the initiative system, and the reason why is because the initiative system, there's some kind of negotiation going on. There's something
Yeah,
going on there, but there's nothing going on with character creation
yeah,
because it
but
doesn't exist.
but the thing is, the biggest blunder they made objectively is that they missed the character creations when it would have been so fucking easy to put in. But I hate the initiative system way more.
Yeah, it's
Like
pretty
I can
bad.
be like, yeah, okay, I don't need to play this game then if I can't even make a character in it. Like, why? What's
Hmm.
the appeal there? Fuck this. But I will be like, oh my god, do we really have to do this whole dance every time we do initiative? Like, it would grate on me so hard, like so quickly. And that's why
God.
I actually dislike that mob, even though the other thing objectively is worse. Yes.
Hmm. Hmm.
And last question, Drake. What do we do in 2 weeks?
Okay, so, would you like to do a game also based on a movie thing? Because
Oof.
objectively, this is based more on the movies than the books.
Oh yeah, I mean by necessity,
Objectively,
right?
yeah, by necessity. Where they do some things right,
Mm-hmm.
or do you want to do a deep dive on the D100 system that failed, that is not Cthulhu?
Oh, okay. Interesting. Would be interesting to do back-to-back D100 episodes. Let me ask what
Yes, or
genre of game is the first one. I don't want to know what not genre of game, what genre of movie.
fuck. I will see what IMDb says because I don't know how to classify.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, okay, IMDb says action, comedy, science fiction. So
Hmm. You like your comedy games?
I will admit this book
Hmm.
does have some comedy in it. It's not like as overt as it is with other things, but
Okay. Okay, I give myself one guess. If that's correct, we do that. Otherwise, we do the D100.
okay.
Is it anything to do with Big Trouble in Little China?
No,
Damn it.
no,
Okay.
no.
Then we'll do the D100 deep dive.
Okay. You want me to tell you what it was though?
Yes, of course.
Men in Black.
Oh, okay. I'm glad we don't do it because I don't like that franchise. What are we doing though?
Amazing engine system.
Hmm. Okay, that's. Oof.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a big one. That's a big
there's.
one.
We already did the other one that failed in that regard, which is Roll Mast.
Yes.
That's the other D100 failure, which we couldn't
Yep.
possibly go back to.
No,
So,
no.
um, and
Yep.
plus,
I'll get you the
yeah,
stuff.
no worries.
Basically, like to explain for the audience and for you, it's a generic system that they released 8 world books for. And I'm not asking you to read all 8 of them. I'd be more like, here's 8 of them, just pick one you want to read.
Okay.
Um, but what's interesting is that they managed to make basically one of every genre that's almost like a knockoff. One of them is like a knockoff of Cyberpunk. One of them's like it's a comedy game. One of them is like King Arthur, except in the year 4500, stuff like that.
Okay.
So like the settings that they came up with are crazy and great, but they have problems. They all have problems.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
My final thought is one more important thing.
yes,
This game will probably never be mentioned again on the show because I can't muster any hate for it.
no,
It's just a dumb failure that's obvious. Who's again? This was something I said last year about another game. I forget. Like where the failure is so obvious to everyone who reads it that they just won't play it. So this game never really hurt anyone, you know?
yeah. My comparison is Teenagers from Outer Space.
Yeah.
That game had nothing that really made me go, "Oh my god, I love this!" But then I can't hate it either because it's not like doing anything harmful to me.
Yep. This is why, like, I will forever be snickering internally about a game that tells you well, if your player did a bad job and got the characters hurt, they should read 20 pages of the dictionary while the other players and you go out for pizza. Which is the very, very first game we ever did, the Star Trek, old Star Trek role-playing game, or a game like Continuum, which is just such a mind-boggling failure and weird in its failure and completely just drops the ball in so many ways. Where at the end you play Civilization one-on-one with your DM, while everyone asks, "What we want, we doing time travel?" Yeah, no, it doesn't matter anymore. Your character is about to become an NPC anyway. What do you mean? What the fuck is going on? And then this is just like, yeah, I could. What do you mean you are Indiana Jones? Who am I then? Who the fuck is Wuhan? Like, what? It's immediately off-putting, and so no one really. It's so clear why this failed, and it can only really. But that's the saddest part. It can't even really stand as a bad example for others to learn from, because the failures are so obvious that you can't. Like an idiot could point them out, which is fitting because I'm here doing that. We went about it at nauseum. You don't have character creation. In a shit easy game, it would have been taking you like an afternoon to write at most.
Just like the only thing I can think to say about it now is like even Cinnabar had character creation, man. Come on.
Remember that you can be the winged warrior who part of the band Live Emotion, who play very bad music, but they do it a lot.
Yes.
And you can be a Pantherman if you roll all 20s on all your attributes, which is impossible.
The game. But yeah, like that game, also because of the creator, holy shit. Dungeon World, mainly because of the creator, who's just like, nah, we need to make D&D easier. Oh, fuck you, man. Seriously, fuck you. And
D&D is so complicated for my idiot brain players. No, it's not. D&D is dead easy. Like,
oh my god.
Like, I'm just happy that they probably, I assume they didn't make a cent. I assume they paid for license and then got fucked over. But I don't. Which is why this game is such a weird failure as well. Because why would you do it like this? Like, who meddled in your affairs, David Cook? You did good jobs, good work. Otherwise, you are constant in this industry. You have done so much stuff.
He has done so much good for just the hobby as a whole. In fact, he worked on Amazing Engine. Ha ha ha.
Like he also did Elder Scrolls Online apparently and stuff. Like he's no longer really in. Like he worked on Fallout 2. This man is a legend.
Yeah, he really is.
I assume he got a paycheck, so I'm happy for him. And TSR just got fucked in both ends from the cost of this.
I didn't realize he was lead designer in City of Villains.
Oh
wow!
Yeah.
Holy shit! Like that's a big deal to me because I'm just like, there are people today who still talk about City Heroes and City of Villains just like it was the holy grail of MMOs. Yeah, and it's just like, holy shit.
Seems to have done a bunch of MMO stuff and then was created as senior project owner for Bethesda.net. Look at that. Yeah. Man is working for Bethesda. So I guess he's also a villain now because he does. He is in that company, but whatever. Good job, dude. Good job.
Nearly everybody in that business has a villain arc at some point. Like Monty Cook's was, no, well, if you don't play a wizard, you're dumb. Yeah, thanks, Monty. And I'll make one more comparison. Tales from the Floating Vagabond, I remember it because I felt very sorry for the guy who made it. I don't feel anything for anybody who made this.
Yeah, for sure.
Just don't.
Good on you for getting a paycheck, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Let's see. Who are we rating? I think we should rate Locke.
Yeah.
Because there's two reasons for this. Firstly, there's three reasons. Firstly, Locke is awesome. Secondly, Locke is real awesome. And third, Locke is playing a game caters to cowardly to play on Switch, which is Fishing Planet.
Nice.
I'm sure Locke is making that interesting. Also, fourth reason Locke is in my Shadowrun game, which is coming back in about 2 weeks' time, Fridays.
Yep. And fifth reason, Locke has raided me so many times I've been unable to raid them back.
Yeah. Locke streams very, very haphazardly sometimes, so I'm taking this chance.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anyway, folks, I'll be back on Monday with something. My schedule will drop the same day. So, whoa! Thank you, 7624 for the 1,000 biddies. Holy crap! Thank you.
Yeah.
Locke is doing daily for this month. I didn't know that. Shows what I know. Drake, do you have anything for to announce?
I know that whatever solar stream I do next, I'm going to be doing Cultic. Because lovely Madame Gwen gifted that to me, and I still haven't gotten to it yet.
Please, nice.
Because Cultic is a very good game. I don't think I have anything else special to announce. What?
Kate, I have no reason to pick up. I owned you. You better accept that. No, I will pick up. I will see you all on Monday. Bye bye, everyone. Have a good time.
Bye bye.
Bye. And